Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to this capital market conclave as we had in the last Saturday also. So last Saturday we have discussed about the mutual fund and all the details, all the pointers which we should take care while investing into the mutual fund and how we can create our wealth using mutual funds. So today again we are here to discuss on equity markets and hedging using the commodity markets. Welcome you all. Just to start off with this, I would request CA Sunilji Patodia to welcome you all. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Sitil. Good morning, friends. I'm very happy to welcome you on the second Saturday of this wonderful conclave organized by Capital Market and Investor Protection Committee of the CA Institute. I'm really grateful to our office, particularly Priyanshu Malhotra, and we are very happy to have amongst us varieties of speakers with experience and new techno speakers. Young and dynamic CA Anish Chitle, our Mr. Sumit Bagadia, Mr. Sachin Gupta, and for commodity, we have very experienced person, Someshji Vaidya and Srikantji Kondanya. So today we will discuss the latest trend of the capital markets in stocks and commodity, and we will be benefiting with expertise of all these speakers. As we know that in this year, we have a lot of program on a digital format only. Our Honorable President, C.A. Atul Gupta, and Honorable Vice President Nihar Jumbusaria, they are taking all efforts to do their best, and under their leadership, we are trying to make our institute in technology at next level, and we have by and far reached to the expectation of our members, and still our members' suggestions are always welcome by them, and I hope in time to come we will keep our institute in the head of the other race. And when I talk about this particular committee is chaired by CA Ranjit Agrawal and Vice Chairman is our CA Anil Bhandari. So both of them are also regularly connected with the capital marketplace, and with these object, we will try to know what is the real current trend in the capital market and how we can connect our professional colleagues, chartered accountants, whether they are in industry, whether they are in practice, so they can learn themselves how to make their client aware and how they themselves can be benefited with the capital markets latest trend. So with these objects, we have organized this conclave, and today is the second day, and I'm really grateful to all the speakers for staying there Saturday, because Saturday is a relaxing day for them, but still they are with us. I'm really, really grateful to all of them. And I request Shital to take the program ahead. Thank you, friends. Shital, unmute yourself.
Sorry, sir. Thank you very much, sir. To start off this particular session, today we have taken two topics. First is the understanding of equity market using technical charts, and second one is how to hedge into the commodity market. So these both the topics are interesting topics and would definitely help you while investing into the market and while suggesting and while serving the clients into the commodity market relating to that particular field. So first we will be going with the understanding of equity market with the help of charts. So in that particular session, we have Mr. Sumit Bagadia. So Sumit Bagadia is very well-known faculty. I don't think he needs much introduction because he's always there on all the media channels, CNBC Awaaz, 18 Now, CNBC Bazaar, Bloomberg, to share his view on the equity, commodity and currency market since last 10 years. So by profession, Sumit Bagadia is an MBA in finance, and Sumit is associated with Choice Broking Private Limited since last around a decade. So Sumit, over to you.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you very much to the organization for having me on the platform. सभी लोगों को मेरा नमस्कार. Good morning to all of you. Today we will be discussing about the equity markets. Generally, we speak about the awareness on equity markets, but today we have selected that how to understand equity markets via technical charts. So I have my colleague with me, Sachin Gupta. Sachin will take you to the details and nitty-gritties and integrities of the candles and the charts, where you will understand how to read the charts. Being a CA, most of the times we are able to read and understand the balance sheet and the fundamental part of the companies, but understanding a technical chart is also a very much understanding technical charts also is a very big requirement in today's world. We need to understand how the market reacts and how things perform on charts. So आज हम जो discussion करेंगे that basically would be on purely on charts, where we will understand how candles perform, what is the meaning of the candle, if candle का break होने पे how to read the charts, and on what basis we can take the targets and stop losses. It's very useful for people who are regularly investing in the market. It's very useful for people who are regularly trading in the market. One need to understand all these parameters and tools, because being a CA, we are able to understand the fundamentals of the companies very well. But to take the proper entry and exit, we need to understand where to take the entry, where to take the exit. We need to understand the technical support and resistance levels, which we can understand only and only through technical analysis. So once my session is over, Sachin will take you to all the candles. He will speak about 40-45 minutes, where he will explain you how to read the chart, how to read the indicators, how to read the breakout, how to read the breakdowns, where you can take the entry, where you can take the exit. These tools are very useful on day-to-day basis. जब आप markets में trade करते हैं, जब आप markets में invest करते हैं, तो the most important thing is entry. The important thing is entry, and the most important thing is exit. तो आप लोगों को ये समझ में आना बहुत जरूरी है, where you need to enter and where you need to exit. Entry can be done at any given point in time. Once you know the fundamentals of the country, once you know the fundamentals of the economy, once you know the fundamentals of the particular company, you can easily make an entry. But entry करने के बाद, the important point and the most important thing is where to exit. Exit आपको प्रॉफिट में करना है, एग्जिट आपको लॉस में करना है, एग्जिट आपको कॉस्ट पे करना है. All these things you can understand with the help of technicals. That's why we have kept today's session as understanding equity markets via technical analysis. एक बार अगर आप इसको सीख लोगे और समझ लोगे, तो ये आपको बहुत अच्छा हेल्प करेगा. I think CA Anish Chitale will also help you understand, make you understand a little bit about technical analysis. तो आपको बहुत अच्छा सेशन मिलने वाला है नेक्स्ट 1 घंटे में. If you have any queries, any doubts related to the indicators, related to the technical analysis, related to the market, you can easily ask your questions and queries. Now, I don't know whether you are investing in the markets or no. जो लोग इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, it's very good. Those who are not investing, those who are not able to convert the clients for investment, my suggestion, my advice would be, don't delay, don't wait, invest in the market. It's never too late. And if you start early, you will make good money. Just to give an example, in last 8 to 10 months, of COVID pandemic, आपको सिर्फ एग्जांपल देने के तौर पे मैं बोल रहा हूँ, the only and the most there are few businesses which run most well in last 8 to 10 months. One was medical pharma, the other one was FMCG, and the third one was share market. Share market में in last 6 to 10 months or in last 8 to 10 months, there the people who have participated, fresh participants which we have seen in the country was almost approx 60 lakh new participants which we have seen in last 6 to 8 months time horizon. यानी कहने का मतलब इतने ज्यादा पार्टिसिपेंट्स को समझ में आया है कि मार्केट्स में रहने से क्या बेनिफिट है, मार्केट्स में रहने से क्या फायदा है, And if you are observing, if you are seeing the market in last 6 to 10 months, markets ने 7,500 के लो से we have seen 14,500 14,700 levels, यानी एक साल के अंदर जब सिनेरियो एकदम वर्स्ट चल रहा था तब मार्केट्स ने ऑलमोस्ट 100% आउट परफॉर्म किया है. करेक्शंस आते हैं मार्केट में, डिप्स आते हैं मार्केट में, दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड, दैट इज हेल्दी, बट वन शुड नॉट पैनिक, वन शुड नॉट किसी को डर नहीं लगना चाहिए ऐसे फॉल्स में, एंड इनफैक्ट वन शुड मेक एंड यूटिलाइज दीज फॉल्स एंड डिप्स एज ए बाइंग अपॉर्चुनिटी. नाउ हाउ, वेयर, व्हेन टू बाय, ऑल दीज थिंग्स यू विल अंडरस्टैंड विद द हेल्प ऑफ टेक्निकल एनालिसिस. कुछ चार्ट सचिन आपको दिखाएंगे, कुछ कैंडल्स आपको सचिन दिखाएंगे, उसमें यू विल अंडरस्टैंड कि टेक्निकल कितना हद तक रोल प्ले करता है. सी नाउ फॉर एग्जांपल अभी लास्ट 7 डेज से और लास्ट 6 डेज से वी आर सीइंग अ कंटिन्यूअस सेल ऑफ इन द इक्विटी मार्केट्स. मार्केट्स हैव फॉलन बाय ऑलमोस्ट 1000 पॉइंट्स. अभी देयर इज नो रीजन फॉर दिस 1000 पॉइंट सेल ऑफ. अगर मैं फंडामेंटल बेसिस पे भी जाऊं तो मुझे ऐसा कुछ रीजन लॉजिक नहीं समझ में आ रहा है कि मार्केट्स 2000 पॉइंट्स 4 दिन में गिरे हैं. फंडामेंटल्स अगर थोड़े दिन के बाद पता चलते हैं तो हाउ टू रीड बिफोर द फंडामेंटल्स. तो चार्ट एक ऐसी चीज है जो आपको ये इंडिकेट कर सकती है, जो आपको ये हिंट दे सकती है, बट ऑब्वियस इट्स नॉट 100% ऑल द टाइम करेक्ट, बट आपको एक ऐसा हिंट और एक इंडिकेशन मिल सकता है जिससे यू विल गेट एन आइडिया देयर इज समथिंग हैपनिंग और समथिंग कैन कम आउट, जिसके बेसिस पे यू कैन टेक अ ट्रेड और यू कैन मेक एन एंट्री और एग्जिट. फॉर एग्जांपल, suppose if something negative comes out in the budget, there is a possibility that market is discounting that in advance. This is the reason that we are seeing the sell off in the equity markets in last 6 days. Markets have fallen down by almost 1000 to 1100 points. So technicals में आपको ये पता चलता है कि this indicator has broken, this level has broken. अगर ये level break होता है तो there is a possibility, a probability. Please understand, please ध्यान से सुनिए, there is a possibility and a probability that यहाँ से ये और नीचे गिर सकता है. अगर वो गिरता है that means there must be some, अगर कहीं धुआं लगा है, अगर कहीं धुआं उठ रहा है मतलब आग लगी है. तो अगर ऐसा हो रहा है तो there is a possibility that कहीं ना कहीं से कुछ न्यूज आ सकता है जिसकी वजह से मार्केट्स आर रिएक्टिंग. नाउ एक रीजन है बजट, the other reason is FII selling. In last 4 days, 5 days, we have seen almost 12,000 crores selling by FIIs. This is the reason that markets के अंदर एक sell off आ रहा है. The other reason is budget. There is a possibility that something negative can come out. तो उसके एडवांस में पहले ही मार्केट्स रिएक्ट कर रहे हैं. अब अगर लास्ट हम हिस्टोरिकली डेटा देखते हैं तो जनरली हमको बजट के पहले रैली देखने को मिलती है और बजट आने के कुछ दिनों के बाद हमें प्रॉफिट बुकिंग देखने को मिलती है. बट दिस टाइम उल्टा हो रहा है. बजट के पहले वी आर सीइंग अ डाउनफॉल. तो अब अगर बजट में कुछ पॉजिटिव आता है तो मार्केट एक रैली ले सकते हैं. बजट में अगर कुछ नेगेटिव आता है तो हो सकता है शायद ओवर रिएक्शन या ओवर बॉट सिनेरियो की वजह से वी कैन सी सम करेक्शन इन द मार्केट, बट ओवरऑल इट्स अ बाय सिनेरियो एट लोअर लेवल्स. द मार्केट्स आर वेरी स्ट्रांग. द वे आर सीइंग ह्यूज इनफ्लोज फ्रॉम एफआईआईज. इस तरह का रैली सदियों में एक बार आता है. आप सोचिए 10 साल में जो तेजी बनती है, 5 साल में जो तेजी बनती है, वो तेजी हमने 10 महीने के अंदर देखी है. तो देयर इज समथिंग फिशी, देयर इज समथिंग एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी, देयर इज समथिंग ग्लूमी व्हिच वी आर नॉट एबल टू फिगर आउट. मार्केट्स बहुत स्ट्रांग जा सकते हैं. इकोनॉमी वर्स्ट सिनेरियो में थी जब हमने मार्केट्स में रैली देखी है. तो इकोनॉमी अगर फुल रिवाइव होगी, एक एक सेक्टर्स में जान आएगी, एक एक सेक्टर्स में मोमेंटम स्टार्ट होगा. जस्ट विजुअलाइज, just imagine what sort of rally we are going to see. I am expecting markets are going to outperform in next couple of months or in next 1 or 2 years. If you are invested, you are going to make very good money in this market. With the investment, you need to understand the art of trading. Trading is must. When it comes to trading, there is not only a futures and option trading, there is a momentum trading which you can make benefit when you have a good portfolio. If your portfolio is good, if you are having a quality stock, you should make the benefit of 5%, 10%, 15% upside and downside moves which we regularly get in the market. These moves, if you are able to capture, you can multiply your wealth. How? For example, if you have bought something at 100 rupees, see in stock market, all these stocks don't move, or they never move in a one-way direction. Stocks move up by 8 to 10%, then they give some correction of around 4 to 5%, then they again move by 8 to 10%. So if one person in the market have bought something at 100 and is waiting for 125 rupees target, he will make 25 rupees. The other person who is in the markets and is regularly churning at every ups and downs which we get regularly in the market, he will make more than the first person who has made 25 rupees. How? If he has bought something at 100, he has sold something at approximately at around 107 or 108 levels, then the market can give some correction based on the technical levels. If you understand and if you expect, you can again buy the same thing at around 102 or 103 levels. So he has booked that 7 points and he has again entered in the stock. So the more he does the churning, the more he will make the money. So what I'm trying to tell you and explain you is, try to use this volatility, try to use these ups and downs in reducing your average, in creating your wealth, in making more money than others who are making in the market. Markets में पैसा बनाने के लिए you need to give time, you need to understand the volatility, you need to understand the fundamentals, you need to understand the technicals. और इससे भी ऊपर पैसा होना जरूरी है. अगर पैसा नहीं है तो हम कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे. तो अगर पैसा हुआ तो हम कर पाएंगे. पैसे से मार्केट पैसे को खींचता है. तो जो लोग डरते हैं इस मार्केट में आने से, वो डरे नहीं. अपना एक स्टाइल यूज करें, अपना एक स्ट्रेटेजी यूज करें. आप हमारे से जब अभी आप हमें ऑनलाइन आप सुनोगे, उसके बाद इफ यू आर कंफर्टेबल, यू कैन स्टार्ट फॉलोइंग अस ऑन various social media platforms where we regularly keep giving updates regarding the market. We keep making videos regarding markets where you can understand. देखिए आधे घंटे 1 घंटे में समझना, it's not an easy task. और नहीं समझ में आता है. It takes years, months to understand the market, to understand the style, to understand the strategy. किसी भी चीज को बिना समझे बिना करोगे तो चोट खाओगे. रिटर्न फाइल करने के लिए सीए की हेल्प रिक्वायर्ड होती है. उसके बिना सीए रिटर्न फाइल करना डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है. सेम उसी तरह शेयर मार्केट में अगर पैसा कमाना है तो यू नीड टू बी इन टच विद द रिसर्च के लोगों से टच में रहोगे तो पैसा बनेगा. अदरवाइज पैसा बनना डिफिकल्ट है. तो आप टच में रहिए. आप हमें सोशल मीडिया पे फॉलो कर सकते हैं, आप हमारे वीडियोस देख सकते हैं, आप टेक्निकल्स को डिटेल में समझ सकते हैं, मार्केट का अपडेट्स आप लोग रख सकते हैं. जितना ज्यादा आप अपना नॉलेज बढ़ाएंगे, जितना ज्यादा आप अपने आप को अपग्रेड करेंगे, उतना ज्यादा प्रोबेबिलिटी पैसा कमाने का बढ़ता जाएगा. मार्केट में पैसा वो तोड़ते हैं या वो लूज करते हैं दोज हु आर हैविंग और दोज हु आर लैकिंग नॉलेज इन द मार्केट. और जिसके पास नॉलेज है, जिसके पास सोर्स है, जिसके पास पैसा है, वो पैसा बनाते हैं. तो आई थिंक हमारे पास अगर मैं ऐसे बोलने जाऊंगा तो 1 घंटा भी कम पड़ेगा, बिकॉज मेरे पास बहुत कुछ होता है मार्केट में बोलने के लिए. बट वी हैव 4-5 स्पीकर्स. टाइम का शॉर्टेज है क्योंकि 2 घंटे में सबको खत्म करना है. Sachin will take 40-45 minutes. CA Anish Chitle also will take few minutes with you all. तो मैं यहीं पे एंड करता हूँ मेरा सेशन. इसके बाद आप टेक्निकल एनालिसिस को अच्छे से डिटेल में समझिएगा. आई एम 100% श्योर अगर आप लोग एक बार उसको समझ गए एंड इफ यू आर एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड टेक्निकल पार्ट, आपको पैसा बनाने में बहुत हद तक आसानी होगी. तो आई विल एंड माय सेशन. थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर लिसनिंग मी. थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग टुडे. Please make the best use of technical analysis. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sumit, for giving an insight on the current market trends and your view on the markets. So now I would request CA Anish Chitle ji to take the session ahead.
Yes. First of all, am I audible?
Yes.
So first of all, I would like to thank all the participants for giving your precious Saturday to me. So secondly, I would like to thank CA Ranjit Agarwal sir, Chairman, and CA Sunil Patodia sir for having me. So before we begin with charting and all, we first should know what are the approaches to market analysis. So we all know about fundamental analysis. So second is the technical analysis. So एकदम आसान भाषा में what is technical analysis? Sir, can you go to the next slide? So in simple words, technical analysis is nothing but demand and supply. which is analyzed or which is studied to know where the direction or where the market is heading. So technical analysis helps you to be on the right side of the market. We have seen this in market in n number of times that when a share goes up or when there is a massive rally in the share, people go around to sell it. And when shares like DHFL or Jet Airways or even Yes Bank start falling down, people rally over there to buy these shares. This is a great error on part of technical analysis. The basic concept of technical analysis is always buy strength and sell where it is weak. Coming to fundamental analysis. What does fundamental analysis do? Previous one. So coming to fundamental analysis. So in fundamental analysis, the analyst tries to see what the intrinsic value of a share is. So basically, if the current market price is above the intrinsic value calculated by them, then it is said that the share is overvalued and you go and sell the share. If on the other hand, the current market price of the share is below your intrinsic value, then the share is thought to be lower valued. So you go and buy it. So how to make profit in fundamental analysis is that you sell overvalued stocks or you buy undervalued stocks and wait for them to converge your intrinsic value. So, but in technical analysis, there is no place for valuation as such. Technical analysis ignores whatever the value you do the analysis, it ignores that value. So in technical analysis, like Sumit sir told, there are three important aspects. So technical analysis will tell you when to enter the market, it will tell you when to exit the market, and it will tell you what the stop loss should be. So technical analysis is least concerned about the valuation. Secondly, when you study technical analysis, that can be applied against all asset classes, be it equity shares, be it forex, be it commodities, or any other aspects. In fundamental analysis, you have to study for each asset class differently. For example, if you are studying for some equity shares, you have to study the balance sheet, you have to study the results, you have to study the cash flows and etc. If you are like trading in currency, then you have to study inflation of that countries. You have to study the purchase parity between the countries to reach a certain valuation. However, technical analysis is easy compared to that. Sir, next thing. So basically, 4 important tools are used while doing technical analysis. The first is patterns. So what is patterns? See, one of the basic assumptions of technical analysis is history repeats itself. That is, the market participants react in a similar fashion to similar situations which occur on the charts. I'll just take a simple example. There is a pattern by the name of bullish engulf. It is assumed that whenever bullish engulf appears at the bottom of the chart, there is generally buying at that point and the market price goes up. So it can be said, as Sumit sir told, technical analysis is a probabilistic analysis. It is not definitive. However, in technical analysis, you need to play on those probability. So higher the probability, higher is the opportunity of profit. So for example, the pattern is, let's assume, bearish engulf, which is a bullish pattern. So whenever that appears on a chart, all the traders or all the market participants would react in the same way and start buying, which will cause the market to go up. So as I said, the pattern you should, whenever you are doing technical analysis, you should look at certain patterns which appear over the period of time. And similar patterns will most probably give you similar probability of profits. The second important thing to see is the support and resistance levels. Support and resistance levels can be observed on the chart. So support level is nothing but where heavy buying is expected. So let's assume some share of ABC company has been continuously falling. So what will happen that once the share comes near the support level, heavy buying would be over there. And as we say, technical analysis is economics of supply and demand. So whenever there is a demand, the price will increase. So support level is nothing but from where a price will reverse, falling price will reverse and go up. Likewise, resistance level is the level on the chart from where it can be observed that whenever a price is trending upwards, it will reach the resistance level, and from there would be some heavy selling, due to which the prices will come down. So these two levels have always to be kept in mind while doing technical analysis. The third important thing is volume. And I find most of the time that volume is very underrated in technical analysis. Let's take an example. Let's say certain share jumps up 5% or it goes down 5%. So what is this? So there are two things then. If it has jumped 5% or has gone down 5%, will it stay over there or will it be or will there be some reversal? That is that jump decisive or will it is temporary? So if it is temporary, it will of course reverse. If it is decisive, it will stay over there. So how to know this? So as I said, it is a science of supply and demand. So whenever the volumes in such decisive moves are high, we can say that whatever the move has been happened decisively. And secondly, if the volumes are very low, we can say that upward move or downward move has been temporary in nature and most probably will reverse. The third important factor to see, the fourth important factor to see are the indicators. See, indicators are nothing but the mathematical derivations of different types of moving averages. I know it was a bit mathematical to calculate derivatives and all, but the thing is, all the charting softwares available in the market, even the free ones, give you the indicators freely. So you just have to log on. I will give you the site name as well. That is one is TradingView, one is charting.com and Money Control. All these can give you indicators which you can see freely. So the thing is, you needn't calculate the indicators. You just have to understand what the indicators are telling you. So patterns, support and resistance, volume, and indicators are the basic components of technical analysis. So while doing technical analysis, all the four concepts have to be concised in your trading system. A trading system is nothing but the checklist you make while doing technical analysis. So let's take an example. I am very much interested in buying, let's say, for example, Bajaj Finance. So the first thing I should do is, I know fundamentally and all the company, let's assume it is very good. But like Sumit sir told, fundamental is one thing, but entry and exit will give you a better profit. So first I will open charts of Bajaj Finance and I will see whether there is some pattern occurring, which is either some bullish pattern or are there any breakouts occurring on the charts. So let's assume breakouts are occurring and charts are also very good. So coming to the second point, I will see whether these patterns are, let's say, if it is bullish, is it near some resistance point? Or if I am bearish on that stock, is it near some support level? So the thing is, if Bajaj Finance is in continuous upward trend, but it is trading near the resistance level, I will wait till either the resistance levels are broken or there is some reversal from the resistance level. So the SNR level should also be taken into consideration while seeing the pattern. The third thing is volume. Like I told, if Bajaj Finance doesn't have volume on that day of the breakout when I want to enter, then there is no point of entering. The thing with volumes is, we as a retail, let's assume I want to buy Bajaj Finance. But we as a retail traders, we will buying, let's say, 10 Bajaj Finance, 20 Bajaj Finance at the most. But when there are heavy volumes, it is indication that some smart players, like some institutional investors, let's say LIC or mutual fund houses are buying, because we as a retailer can buy, let's say 20, 50, 100 Bajaj Finance. But when they enter, they won't buy below 5,000, 50,000 shares. So that is the reason whenever you are taking any trade, always see the volumes, whether the big guys or the smart money is accepting your view or is in course of your view. The third thing is indicators. Basically, most of the indicators are lagging. Lagging means they occur or they give you answers that whether there is a trend or there is no trend after the trend has occurred. So indicator should be checked just to confirm your whatever analysis you have done. So indicators are just for confirming. Sir, next page. So before we go ahead with Sachin sir, one thing: does technical analysis really work? I have a simple example. You Google Dan Zanger. So who is Dan Zanger? Dan Zanger is one of the most recognized technical individual trader from America. He holds a world record of giving a return of 29,000% in a single year. And I know हम बोलेंगे हम तो CA है तो कोई proof के बगैर हम कैसे मान ले. So along with this result, he had also published his audited statements. So audited statements है तो हम as a CA को मानना ही पड़ेगा. So with this, I will come to end of my PowerPoint presentation, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Anishi. Thank you very much, Anishi, for giving the entire insight on how technical works and what all basic points should be taken care while using the technical charts as a trading tool and investment tools. Now, I would request Mr. Sachin.
I just want to know our other eminent speakers and our colleagues. The CA is young and dynamic chartered accountant, and in the initial stage of his journey, the way he has presented today, I think we have a lot of things to learn from him, and I wish him all the best in time to come. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now I would request Mr. Sachin Gupta to take this ahead. Sachin Gupta is also a senior research analyst with Choice Broking and have around a decades of experience into technical analysis with different organizations. So now Sachin, over to you, please.
Thank you, Shitalji. First of all, I'm really thankful to
Sachin, I think your voice is not coming. Sachin, can you please check your mic?
Now is it audible?
Yes, please. Please continue.
So very good morning to all. First of all, would like to say thanks to all the panelists and ICAI to invite me here and give me an opportunity to host this session. And guys, today we are going to cover presentations on technical analysis, like as Sumit sir also discussed and Anish also discussed about the fundamentals and technical analysis, and they also discussed about like how the technical analysis is different from the fundamental analysis. So here today we are going to cover the basics of technical analysis. Through the PPT, we will understand like what is the technical analysis and what type of charts like we cover in the technical analysis, and what is exactly the support and resistance, what exactly the trend, and how this all these factors work in the market. And through that technical analysis, how the particular person or a technician can gain the profit from the market. So apart from the fundamentals, like all these things, balance sheet, trial balance, and ratio analysis, apart from that, the technical analysis is also a backbone of the market, like which indicates like how to take an entry. As Sumit sir already told you, like how to take the entry, where to take the entry, and how we can exit, and where we can exit our positions from the market. So ultimately, the technical analysis tell you like where you can take an entry in the market and where you can exit from the market, so that you can make the handsome profit from the market. So without wasting time, would like to share this screen with you guys so that we can understand. Is it visible, sir?
Yes, Sachin, please continue.
Yeah. So before starting this, first we would like to understand like what is technical analysis. So guys, technical analysis is nothing but it is just a chart-based study where we understand and we analyze the past performance of the charts, and based on that past performance, we predict the future prices. If we talk about like if we cover like daily charts, weekly charts, or monthly charts, whatever the charts we are reading, like on the basis of that, we decide the futures of the particular stock or a particular commodity. So this basically what the technician do. The technician, or we call this as a chartist. So what exactly they do? So they do the analyze the past performance based on the charts, like how the pattern form and how the particular price action react in the past, and based on that study, they analyze the future predictions. So this is the
Sachin, sorry to interrupt you in between. Can you please make it full screen so it will be clearly visible to all the audience? Can you please make this full screen?
Is it fine now?
Now it's fine.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So this is the short introduction about the technical analysis. Now we'll cover the basic assumptions, like what is the basic assumptions in the technical analysis. So as Anish, first point is already covered, like market discount, everything. What does it mean? Exactly the market based and work and based on the supply and demand. So yes, if the demand exceeds the supply, then definitely the price, we will see the further action in the price, then price will go up. And if the supply is exceed the demand, then we'll see the further downfall in the market, then that means the price will go down. So market discount everything, what does it mean exactly? So guys, market mein jo basically whatever the fundamentals reasons and whatever the geopolitical reason, whatever the political reasons we find out, market discount all these factors before going before this event. Like we can say कि market में जब भी इस type के patterns बनते हैं या फिर price action जो देखने को मिलता है, ये फर्दर एक्शन यानी कि ये फर्दर जो भी इवेंट होने वाले होते हैं उससे पहले मार्केट के अंदर जो है वो एक्शन देखने को मिल जाता है. लाइक कोई पॉलिटिकल इवेंट है, कोई जियोपॉलिटिकल इवेंट है, या फिर कुछ भी XYZ अदर रीजन है जिसकी वजह से आने वाले टाइम में जो चीजें हो सकती है उसका जो मार्केट पर फैक्टर जो है वो मार्केट ऑलरेडी उसको फैक्टरिंग कर देता है, यानी कि डिस्काउंट कर देता है, उसका इंपॉर्टेंस जो है वो मार्केट पे ऑलरेडी पहले से दिखने लगता है. तो ये पॉइंट ऑलरेडी कवर कर चुके हैं अनीश, मार्केट डिस्काउंट एवरीथिंग. The second one point is price moves in a trend. Yes, a very important thing, as in the technical analysis we always tell like price like trend is your friend. Always trend with the always trade with the trend so that you can make the handsome profit. Never against never do trade against with the trend. So guys like प्राइस जो है हमेशा ट्रेंड में ही मूव करता है. अगर पर्टिकुलरली एक ट्रेंड अगर आप देखेंगे कि जो अपसाइड का है और रेगुलरली उसमें अपसाइड मोमेंटम मिल रहा है, तो वहां पर कभी भी रिवर्सल जब तक नहीं आता है तब तक नेगेटिव पोजीशंस बनाने के लिए ट्राई कभी मत कीजिए, बिकॉज अदरवाइज हम अप ट्रेंड में जाते हुए मार्केट में कभी सेलिंग पोजीशंस बनाने के लिए ट्राई करेंगे तो वो डेफिनेटली लॉस होगा. जैसे कि समिशन ने अभी एग्जांपल दिया था कि लास्ट ये ड्यूरिंग दिस कोविड-19 पीरियड एक 7 to 8 months और 9 months में एक अच्छा बड़ा मोमेंटम जो है निफ्टी के अंदर देखने को मिला है. स्टॉक मार्केट ने काफी अच्छा परफॉर्म किया है. तो इस तरीके के अगर अप ट्रेंड में अगर बियरिश मूव देखने को मिलेगा या फिर बियरिश पोजीशंस अगर हम लोग क्रिएट करेंगे तो डेफिनेटली लॉस होना ही है. तो ऑलवेज ट्रेड विद द ट्रेंड, लाइक एंड एज ट्रेंड इज योर फ्रेंड. तो ट्रेंड के अकॉर्डिंगली ट्रेड कीजिए सो दैट आप अच्छा प्रॉफिट मार्केट से निकाल सके. द लास्ट वन इज द हिस्ट्री रिपीट इटसेल्फ. यस, अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. एज before starting this technical analysis definition, I already told you कि history repeat itself. like जो भी 100 years में जो भी जिस टाइप के भी पैटर्न्स मार्केट में फॉर्म हुए हैं उस पैटर्न्स के बेसिस पर ही हम लोग जो है वो फ्यूचर को प्रिडिक्ट करते हैं. जैसे कि मैंने आपको बोला कि एक टेक्नीशियन जो है वो पास्ट के डेटा को, पास्ट के चार्ट्स को वॉच करता है और उसके बेसिस पे फ्यूचर्स की प्राइसेस को प्रिडिक्ट करता है. तो हिस्ट्री, ऐसा टेक्निकल एनालिसिस में बोला जाता है कि हिस्ट्री जो है वो रिपीट करती है खुद को, यानी कि जो भी पैटर्न्स या जो भी फॉर्मेशंस जो है वो पास्ट में देखने को मिले हैं, लाइक समथिंग कुछ पैटर्न्स जैसे कि मैं बात करूं हेड एंड शोल्डर पैटर्न हुआ, डबल बॉटम पैटर्न हुआ, जो कि हम अभी नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में कवर करने जा रहे हैं. इस तरीके की जो भी टेक्निकल इंडिकेटर्स या जो भी टेक्निकल प्राइस एक्शन प्राइस पैटर्न्स होते हैं वो अगर पास्ट में बने हैं उसी के अकॉर्डिंगली हम लोग प्रिडिक्ट करते हैं कि फ्यूचर में भी अगर इस तरीके के पैटर्न्स या फॉर्मेशन देखने को मिलते हैं तो मार्केट वैसे ही रिएक्ट करेगा जैसे कि मार्केट ने पास्ट में रिएक्ट किया है. So ultimately, in simple words, we can say the future is just a repetition of past. So in this definition, we can say that the future जो है वो एक repetition है आपके past का. जो भी past में हुआ है वो futures में हो सकता है. ऐसी possibilities technical analysis में लगाई जाती है. नेक्स्ट वन इज बेसिक्स ऑफ टेक्निकल टूल्स. तो क्या बेसिक टेक्निकल टूल्स है यहाँ पर हमको वॉच रखना चाहिए और थ्रू दैट बेसिक टूल्स लाइक वी कैन डू द टेक्निकल स्टडी एंड वी कैन एनालाइज द चार्ट्स आल्सो. द फर्स्ट वन इज सपोर्ट एंड रेजिस्टेंस. जो कि अनीश आपको कवर कर चुके हैं कि what exactly the support and what exactly the resistance, and the next one is the market trend. So yes, first of all we need to understand like what is the market trend. If market trend is up, so we always make the buying positions. If market if trend is down, so we always take a short positions or a selling positions in the market so that we can get the profit. And next one is trend line, and third one is price patterns, which we are going to cover in the next slide. So first of all, I would like to discuss about the support and resistance. As Anish already told you कि एक बेसिक सप्लाई और डिमांड का गेम है जिसके अकॉर्डिंगली हम लोग सपोर्ट एंड रेजिस्टेंस देखते हैं। तो देखिए चार्ट्स पर आपको क्लियरली यहाँ पर दिखाई दे रहा है कि एक इस तरीके का फॉर्मेशन बना है और ये कंसोलिडेशन यहाँ पर चार्ट पर दिख रहा है जो कि 1, 2 एंड 3 इन लास्ट 3 टाइम्स मार्केट ने यहाँ का सपोर्ट लिया और उसके बाद ये सपोर्ट को ब्रेक करने के बाद में यहाँ पर एक फॉल देखने को मिला है। सिमिलरली जब यहाँ से मार्केट रिकवर होता हुआ अपसाइड में आया तो ये जो सपोर्ट लेवल्स थे ये एज अ रेजिस्टेंस पॉइंट काउंट हुए, जैसे कि यहाँ पर हमने इंडिकेट किया हुआ है ये 1, 2, 3 ये जो प्रीवियसली सपोर्ट थे वो भी यहाँ पर आके रेजिस्टेंस बन गए और इस रेजिस्टेंस को ब्रेक करने के बाद में मार्केट में यहाँ पर एक अपसाइड मोमेंटम देखने को मिला। साथ ही साथ में 1, 2, 3 अगेन ये 3 पॉइंट्स 1, 2 एंड 3 यहाँ पर भी जो है एक मेजर रेजिस्टेंस जोन था जो कि मार्केट ने ब्रेक किया। अब अगर फर्दर मैं ब्रेकआउट की बात करूं तो यूजुअली जो सपोर्ट रेजिस्टेंस होते हैं वो रिवर्सल का काम करते हैं, बट अगर कहीं पर मेजर लाइक एन नंबर ऑफ टाइम पर्टिकुलर जगह पर अगर मार्केट रुकता है तो वहां पर प्रोबेबिलिटी रहती है कि अब इसका पर्टिकुलर ब्रेकआउट या ब्रेकडाउन मार्केट में देखने को मिल सकता है। जैसे कि आपको अभी चार्ट्स पर दिख रहा है ये फर्स्ट 2 पॉइंट दिस वन एंड दिस वन यहाँ पर मार्केट आके रुका और उसके बाद में वापस से एक फॉल आया। मार्केट ने अगेन इस सपोर्ट को टेस्ट किया और यहाँ से पूरी स्ट्रेंथ के साथ में यानी कि यहाँ पर एक अच्छी खासी डिमांड जोन यहाँ पर देखने को मिला और यहाँ पर एक अच्छी खासी यहाँ से अपसाइड की रैली देखने को मिली और इसने प्रायर रेजिस्टेंस को ब्रेक करके यहाँ पर एक ब्रेकआउट दिया है जो कि इंडिकेट करता है कि यहाँ से जो है वो बुलिश मार्केट हो सकता है, यानी कि इस प्रायर रेजिस्टेंस को ब्रेक करके मार्केट अभी वन वे अपसाइड में जा सकता है। तो ये इस तरीके के सपोर्ट एंड रेजिस्टेंस जो है वो चार्ट्स पर क्लियरली देखने को मिलते हैं जिसके बेसिस पे हम ट्रेंड को डिसाइड कर सकते हैं और मार्केट में कहाँ से एंट्री लेनी है और कहाँ पर एग्जिट करना है वो डिसाइड कर सकते हैं। द सेकंड वन चार्ट आप देख सकते हैं हिस्टोरिकल सपोर्ट एंड रेजिस्टेंस का चार्ट है। एज आई टोल्ड यू रिवर्सल काफी टाइम पे देखने को मिलता है। आप देखिएगा जैसे कि यहाँ पर दिख रहा है क्लियरली कि एक रेजिस्टेंस पॉइंट है, यहाँ पर एक बार मार्केट डाउन साइड से ऊपर में आया, यहाँ पर टच किया, फिर एक डाउन साइड में दिखा, डाउन साइड में ये सपोर्ट का काम कर रहा था, इन्हीं लेवल्स पे यहाँ पर सपोर्ट लिया और फिर वापस से एक अपसाइड रैली देखने को मिली। अगेन मार्केट इस रेजिस्टेंस को ब्रेक नहीं किया और फिर वहां से अगेन एक फॉल देखने को मिला। वापस से मार्केट ने डाउन साइड में सपोर्ट लिया। एज आई टोल्ड यू ये प्रीवियस जो है वो सपोर्ट लेवल्स थे, यहाँ पर वापस से मार्केट ने एक सपोर्ट लिया और एक अपसाइड रैली दी, बट वापस से मार्केट के अंदर एक स्ट्रेंथ नहीं देखने को मिली, फ्रेश बाइंग मार्केट में नहीं देखने को मिली। बिकॉज ऑफ दैट एक अगेन से एक फॉल आया और थर्ड वन अगेन ये यहाँ पर वापस से एक रेजिस्टेंस देखने को मिला और वापस से मार्केट ने जो है डाउन साइड का मोमेंटम टेस्ट किया। यानी कि ये क्लियरली दिखा रहा है आपको कि 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 एंड 6 कितने टाइम जहां पर जो है सपोर्ट लेवल के आसपास मार्केट आके रिवर्स हुआ। यानी कि सपोर्ट लेवल पे क्लियरली यहाँ पर बाइंग इंडिकेशंस नजर आ रहे थे। अगर इस प्राइस एक्शन को देखा जाए, इस प्राइस एक्शन को देखा जाए तो उसके बाद थर्ड टाइम पर अगर मार्केट डाउन साइड आता है ऊपर से तो लोअर लेवल से एक बाइंग अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट हो रही थी, यानी कि सपोर्ट पर हम बाय कर सकते थे और अप साइड में यहाँ रेजिस्टेंस फेस कर रहा है वहां पर हम पोजीशन से एग्जिट ले सकते थे, यानी कि सेल ले सकते थे। तो ये टेक्निकल एनालिसिस में क्लियरली नजर आता है कि यहाँ पर कहाँ पर बाय करना है और कहाँ पर आकर सेल करना है पोजीशन को। अब देखिए अगर ये लाइक 3 to 4 टाइम्स इस तरीके का मार्केट ने फॉर्मेशन बनाया, अब अगर फोर्थ या फिफ्थ या सिक्स्थ टाइम अगर मार्केट वापस से सपोर्ट को ब्रेक कर देता है देन वी विल से कि यहाँ से एक ब्रेकडाउन देखने को मिला। यानी कि 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 5 से 6 बार मार्केट ने लेवल्स को टेस्ट किया और फाइनली जो है पूरी स्ट्रेंथ के साथ एक ब्रेकडाउन देखने को मिला। तो इन लेवल्स के नीचे ही सेल पोजीशंस इनिशिएट की जा सकती है। जब तक ये लेवल्स ब्रेक नहीं होते हैं तब तक यहाँ पर बाय ऑन डिप्स की स्ट्रेटेजी को फॉलो करके हम लोग हर सपोर्ट पर एक बाय पोजीशंस इनिशिएट कर सकते हैं। सिमिलरली अपसाइड में अगर रेजिस्टेंस की बात करें तो देखिए क्लियरली इंडिकेट हो रहा था कि मार्केट एक अपसाइड में आता था, वहां से एक क्रैश मार्केट के अंदर देखने को मिलता था। तो यहाँ पर जो है शॉर्ट पोजीशन इनिशिएट कर सकते थे और डाउन साइड में यहाँ पर प्रॉफिट बुक किया जा सकता था। तो इस तरीके से सपोर्ट और रेजिस्टेंस जो है वो मार्केट में वर्क करते हैं। अब बात करते हैं नेक्स्ट टाइप ऑफ ट्रेंड की। जैसे कि फर्स्ट स्लाइड में हमने कवर किया था कि ट्रेंड, सो ट्रेंड एग्जैक्टली क्या डिसाइड करता है कि मार्केट में अप ट्रेंड है, डाउन ट्रेंड है या साइडवेज ट्रेंड है। तो देयर आर 3 टाइप ऑफ ट्रेंड, अप ट्रेंड, डाउन ट्रेंड एंड साइडवेज ट्रेंड. Now we'll discuss about what is uptrend. So in the uptrend, as बेसिकली क्या होता है, डाउन साइड से मार्केट जब भी टॉप पर आता है फिर एक क्रैश देता है, यानी कि हायर हाइज और हायर लोज मार्केट में जब भी बनते हैं तो वो एक अप ट्रेंड होता है। जैसे कि आप इस चार्ट पर क्लियरली देख पा रहे हैं, ये एक लाइन चार्ट है, लाइन चार्ट में आपको दिख रहा है मार्केट ने यहाँ पर हायर हाइज बनाए, उसके बाद में एक हायर लो बनाया, यानी कि इस प्रीवियस लो को मार्केट ने ब्रेक नहीं किया। अगेन मार्केट में एक अपसाइड की रैली आई और इस प्रायर हाइज को मार्केट ने ब्रेक किया और एक क्रैश दिखाया। इस लो पर आने के बाद में मार्केट ने इस प्रायर लो को ब्रेक नहीं किया और एक छोटा सा एक स्मॉल सा लो बनाकर वापस से एक तेजी की साइड में मार्केट आता हुआ दिखा, यानी कि ये हायर हाइज बना रहा है। एवरी डिप पर एक नया हाई देखने को मिल रहा है और एक छोटे से स्मॉल फॉल के बाद में यानी ये हायर लोज बनते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं, जो कि इंडिकेट कर रहा है कि मार्केट जो है वो एक अप ट्रेंड में ट्रेड होता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। तो इस तरीके से हम ट्रेंड डिसाइड कर सकते हैं कि मार्केट अप ट्रेंड में है या फिर डाउन ट्रेंड में है। जब तक ये मार्केट इस प्रायर लो को ब्रेक नहीं करेगा तब तक के लिए ये अप ट्रेंड ही कंटिन्यू होगा। जब इस प्रायर लो को ब्रेक कर देगा दैट मींस कि मार्केट अभी अप ट्रेंड में नहीं है, क्योंकि इस प्रायर लो को ब्रेक करने के बाद में ये लो यहाँ से इस साइड में हो सकता था, मे बी पॉसिबिलिटी कि अगेन से ये जो लो बनता वो इस साइड में आता, तो ये पूरा का पूरा जो है वो अप ट्रेंड डाउन ट्रेंड में कन्वर्ट हो जाता। बट जिस तरीके से हायर हाइज हायर लो बनाता वो मार्केट अप ट्रेंड में चल रहा है, विच इज इंडिकेटिंग दैट कि ये एक अप ट्रेंड है। दूसरे बात करते हैं डाउन ट्रेंड की। तो डाउन ट्रेंड क्या होता है, बेसिकली प्राइस स्टॉक जो है वो ओवरऑल डायरेक्शन मार्केट का किस तरीके से डिसाइड होता है वो देखते हैं। तो इसमें देखिए लोअर हाइज बनते हुए जाते हैं, लोअर लोज और लोअर हाइज बनते हैं, यानी कि मार्केट अप ट्रेंड से आ रहा था, अप ट्रेंड से आता हुआ मार्केट फॉल दिखाया, लोअर लोज बनाए और फिर वापस से एक छोटा सा पुल बैक दिखाया है, जो कि चार्ट पर क्लियरली दिख रहा है। छोटे से पुल बैक के बाद में वापस से एक क्रैश देखने को मिला, यानी कि मार्केट ने लोअर लोज यानी कि एक नए नए लोज बनाता जा रहा है और जो लोअर हाइज जो मार्केट में बने थे वो भी पीक को छोटा करता जा रहा है, जो कि इंडिकेट कर रहा है कि मार्केट जो है वो डाउन ट्रेंड में चलता हुआ आ रहा है। आप देख रहे हैं एक स्टेयर काइंड ऑफ फॉर्मेशन यहाँ पर बन रहा है, ये एक स्टेप, सेकंड स्टेप एंड थर्ड स्टेप एंड अगेन से फॉल, जो कि इंडिकेशन है एक डाउन ट्रेंड का। तो अगर हम ट्रेंड डिसाइड करने जाते हैं तो अप ट्रेंड किस तरीके से डिसाइड करते हैं, जब हायर हाइज और हायर लोज मार्केट में बनते हुए जा रहे हैं दैट मींस वो अप ट्रेंड है, और जब लोअर लोज और लोअर हाइज मार्केट में बनते हुए जा रहे हैं दैट मींस वो डाउन ट्रेंड है। अब बात करते हैं साइडवेज। अप ट्रेंड हो गया एंड डाउन ट्रेंड हो गया, इसके बाद में एक होता है साइडवेज ट्रेंड, जिसमें ना तो हायर हाइज बनते हैं ना लोअर लोज बनते हैं, यानी कि मार्केट जो है एक दो सिमिलर पैरेलल ट्रेंड लाइन के बीच में जो है वो ट्रेड होता हुआ नजर आता है। आप देख सकते हैं इक्वल हाइज रहेंगे और इक्वल जो है वो लोज रहेंगे, यानी कि ना हाइज ब्रेक हो रहे हैं और ना ही लोज ब्रेक हो रहे हैं। अगर बात करें इस हाई की तो इस नेक्स्ट हाई जो है वो नियर टू दैट हाई बना और वापस से मार्केट में क्रैश देखने को मिला। अगेन जब क्रैश आया तो इसने प्रायर लो को ब्रेक नहीं किया और वहां से फिर एक अपसाइड रैली देखने को मिली, बट अपसाइड रैली सिर्फ लिमिटेड थी बिकॉज उसने प्रायर हाइज को वापस से ब्रेक नहीं किया और फिर वापस से एक फॉल मार्केट में आता हुआ दिखा। यानी कि एक दो पैरेलल ट्रेंड लाइन अगर हम यहाँ से ड्रॉ करें, एक नीचे से और एक अपसाइड अपवर्ड से, तो ये दोनों इन पैरेलल ट्रेंड लाइन के बीच में जो है वो मार्केट मूव करता हुआ नजर आ रहा है, यानी कि दैट इज कॉल्ड द साइडवेज मार्केट, जिसके अंदर लाइक ट्रेंड डिसाइड नहीं है कि मार्केट अप साइड में जाएगा या मार्केट डाउन साइड में जाएगा, जब तक कि मार्केट इस पर्टिकुलर साइडवेज मोमेंटम का ब्रेकआउट या ब्रेकडाउन नहीं दे देता है। और ब्रेकआउट या ब्रेकडाउन जो है वो इधर ऑफ द साइड हो सकता है, बिकॉज ये एक साइडवेज ट्रेंड है। यहाँ पर आके डिसाइड देखना पड़ेगा कि डिमांड एंड सप्लाई मार्केट में किस तरीके की है, एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट डिमांड एंड सप्लाई लाइक मार्केट रिएक्ट अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट, like it may go up or it may go down, it depends on particularly demand and supply only. So this is the sideways trend. Now we'll discuss about the trend lines. So yes, as जैसे कि ट्रेंड डिस्कस किया कि अपसॉर्ट क्या होता है, डाउनवर्ड क्या होता है, सिमिलरली एक ट्रेंड लाइंस होती है जो कि हम ड्रॉ कर सकते हैं। जैसे कि मैंने आपको पहले ट्रेंड में बताया कि हायर हाइज और हायर लोज बनते हुए मार्केट में जा रहे हैं, तो ये आप देख सकते हैं कि अपवर्ड डाउनवर्ड एंड रेंज बाउंड मोमेंटम होता है मार्केट का, जिसको हम इस तरीके से देख सकते हैं, यानी कि साइडवेज लाइन। तो एक अपवर्ड ट्रेंड लाइन अगर हमको ड्रॉ करनी है तो मार्केट में अगेन जब हायर हाइज और हायर लोज बनते हुए जाएंगे तो आप नीचे से एक डाउन साइड से एक ट्रेंड लाइन अपवर्ड में ड्रॉ करके देख सकते हैं, क्लियरली इंडिकेट होगा कि वो एक अप ट्रेंड है, एक अप ट्रेंड है जो कि सपोर्ट कर रहा है। यानी कि देखिए 1, 2 एंड 3, पर्टिकुलरली 3 और 4th टाइम्स जो है मार्केट ने इस लाइन को टेस्ट किया और उसके बाद में अपवर्ड की रैली कंटिन्यू की, यानी कि ये इंडिकेट कर रहा है कि ये एक अपवर्ड ट्रेंड लाइन है और मार्केट इस ट्रेंड लाइन को ब्रेक नहीं कर रहा है। जब तक मार्केट इस ट्रेंड लाइन को ब्रेक नहीं करता है तब तक मार्केट जो है वो अप साइड में ही ट्रेड करता हुआ नजर आएगा, यानी कि एक बुलिश स्ट्रेंथ ही मार्केट के अंदर कंटिन्यू होगी। फिर मार्केट ने अगेन इस लाइन को टेस्ट किया और वहां से एक न्यू रैली यहाँ पर देखने को मिलेगी। तो ये एक होता है अपवर्ड ट्रेंड लाइन। सिमिलरली जस्ट अपोजिट टू दैट एक डाउन साइड ट्रेंड लाइन होती है जो कि लोअर लोज बनाता हुआ है, जैसे कि हमने ट्रेंड में डिस्कस किया कि मार्केट लोअर लोज लोअर हाइज बनाता हुआ जा रहा है, जो कि एक डाउन ट्रेंड को इंडिकेट कर रहा है। अगर उस डाउन ट्रेंड में अगर भी ट्रेंड लाइन को ड्रॉ करके देखें तो हमको क्लियरली इंडिकेट होगा, यानी कि हमको बाय और सेल सिग्नल निकालना है अगर पर्टिकुलर ट्रेंड में, तो हम कैसे निकाल सकते हैं? जब डाउन साइड की ट्रेंड लाइन ड्रॉ करेंगे तो आप देखेंगे कि कई बार मार्केट ने इस ट्रेंड लाइन एंड नियर टू दैट ट्रेंड लाइन को टेस्ट करने के बाद में एक फॉल दिखाया है। जब तक मार्केट इस ट्रेंड लाइन का ब्रेकआउट नहीं देता है तब तक मार्केट जो है वो डाउन ट्रेंड में ही रहेगा, यानी कि जब जब इस मार्केट इस ट्रेंड लाइन के पॉइंट्स को टेस्ट करेगा, यहाँ से एक सेलिंग अपॉर्चुनिटी मार्केट में देख सकते हैं, और जो कि इंडिकेट करेगा कि हाँ यहाँ से एक सेल पोजीशंस बना के डाउन साइड में प्रॉफिट बुक किया जा सकता है, बिकॉज मार्केट में लोअर हाइज और लोअर लोज बनते हुए कंटिन्यूसली जा रहे हैं। सिमिलरली ट्रेंड के अकॉर्डिंगली साइडवेज ट्रेंड था, उसी के अकॉर्डिंगली जो है एक रेंज बाउंड मोमेंटम, जैसे कि हमने आपको बताया कि ना तो दो पैरेलल ट्रेंड लाइन के बीच में मार्केट ट्रेड होता है, ना मार्केट में अपसाइड का डायरेक्शन देखने को मिलता है, ना डाउन साइड का मोमेंटम देखने को मिलता है, और एक साइडवेज ट्रेंड के अंदर यानी ट्रेड होते हुए मार्केट अपना ट्रेंड में चलता है। तो सिमिलरली इन दो ट्रेंड लाइन के बीच में अगर बात करें कि ट्रेड कैसे करना है, तो ट्रेड करने के अकॉर्डिंगली देख सकते हैं कि अपवर्ड पैरेलल लाइन जो आ रही है, अपवर्ड लाइन, ये जो हॉरिजॉन्टल लाइन है, इसके हाइज के आसपास में एक बार बाय पोजीशंस इनिशिएट की जा सकती हैं फॉर द टारगेट ऑफ दिस डाउन लाइन, डाउनवर्ड हॉरिजॉन्टल ट्रेंड लाइन, यानी कि हाई साइड से अगर सेल पोजीशंस बनाते हैं तो डाउन ट्रेंड लाइन पर जहां पर भी आके मार्केट टेस्ट करता है वहां पर एक बार प्रॉफिट बुक किया जा सकता है। सिमिलरली अगर डाउन साइड से पोजीशंस लेते हैं तो डाउनवर्ड की जो ट्रेंड लाइन, जो हॉरिजॉन्टल लाइन आ रही है, उस वहां पर जब भी मार्केट दिखता है तो वहां से एक बार बाय पोजीशंस इनिशिएट की जा सकती है, और अप साइड में जो है वो पर्टिकुलरली अपसाइड में जाकर उस अपवर्ड हॉरिजॉन्टल ट्रेंड लाइन के पास जाकर प्रॉफिट बुक किया जा सकता है। तो इस तरीके की मार्केट में ट्रेंड्स एंड ट्रेंड लाइन होती हैं, अपवर्ड, डाउनवर्ड एंड साइडवेज ट्रेंड लाइन। अब बात करते हैं प्राइस पैटर्न्स की, तो काफी बेसिकली देयर आर एन नंबर ऑफ प्राइस पैटर्न्स, बट वी हैव कवर्ड मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट पैटर्न्स जो कि यूजुअली मार्केट में देखने को मिलते हैं, और एक अच्छा ब्रेकआउट और ब्रेकडाउन जो है उस पर्टिकुलर पैटर्न्स पर हमको यूजुअली देखने को मिलता है। तो फर्स्ट वन इज हेड एंड शोल्डर पैटर्न, yes, which is a very reliable pattern and which indicates the रिवर्सल इन द मार्केट। बेसिकली दिस काइंड ऑफ, जैसे कि नाम से क्लियर हैं, दो शोल्डर्स होते हैं, एक लेफ्ट शोल्डर एक राइट शोल्डर, और एक बीच में हेड होता है। इट्स जस्ट लाइक अ ह्यूमन, कि दो कंधे हो गए और ऊपर में एक उसका सर हो गया, उसके अकॉर्डिंग उस टाइप का एक पैटर्न होता है जो कि रिवर्सल इंडिकेट करता है। बेसिकली ये हेड एंड शोल्डर पैटर्न जो है वो टॉप ऑफ द ट्रेंड में बनता है, यानी कि जब मार्केट का ट्रेंड एकदम एक्सट्रीम हाई होता है और इस तरीके का फॉर्मेशन, दो शोल्डर के साथ में एक हेड अगर इस तरीके का फॉर्मेशन बनता हुआ दिखाई देता है, तो दिस इज द इंडिकेशन ऑफ द रिवर्सल ऑफ द ट्रेंड। यस, वहां पर हम बोल सकते हैं कि वो एक इंडिकेशन है रिवर्सल का, कि एक अप ट्रेंड, एक अपवर्ड रैली के बाद में वहां से एक करेक्शन मार्केट के अंदर आता हुआ दिख सकता है, यानी कि वहां से वो पर्टिकुलर जो ट्रेंड है वो रिवर्स हो सकता है। जैसे कि आप इस चार्ट पर भी देख पा रहे हैं, ये अगर टॉप ऑफ द ट्रेंड में बना हुआ है तो इस नेकलाइन के नीचे हम लोग कॉल जनरेट कर सकते हैं। बेसिकली कॉल कैसे जनरेट करते हैं, जब दो शोल्डर्स बने, एक लेफ्ट शोल्डर एंड राइट शोल्डर हेड के साथ में, तो दो शोल्डर्स के साथ में एक नेकलाइन जो ज्वाइन करेंगे। जैसे कि मैंने आपको बोला कि ह्यूमन बॉडी हो गई, लाइक ये हेड हो गया, दो शोल्डर हो गए, और ये जो है हमारा एक नेकलाइन हो गया। इस नेकलाइन के अकॉर्डिंगली, इस नेकलाइन के बिलो जो है वो बेसिकली कॉल जनरेट की जा सकती है, और स्टॉप लॉस जो है वो राइट ऑफ दिस शोल्डर का एक स्टॉप लॉस किया जा सकता है, यानी कि इस शोल्डर्स के हाई के स्टॉप लॉस के साथ में हम इस पर्टिकुलर नेकलाइन के बिलो कॉल जनरेट कर सकते हैं, एक सेल कॉल, और टारगेट ले सकते हैं इस हाइट ऑफ दिस हेड एंड शोल्डर पैटर्न, यानी कि इस हेड से लेके इस नेकलाइन के बीच का जो भी डिफरेंस है। लेट सपोज एक पर्टिकुलर स्टॉक का प्राइस चल रहा है 100 रुपीज, जो कि इस नेकलाइन के आसपास है, इसका एक हाई बना है 150 रुपीज, और इसके जो शोल्डर्स के, दोनों शोल्डर्स के जो हाई है वो है 125 रुपीज का। अब हम अगर कॉल जनरेट कर रहे हैं तो 100 रुपीज जो कि इस नेकलाइन का लो है, यहाँ से कॉल जनरेट करेंगे सेल पोजीशंस बनाने के लिए, और यहाँ पर सेल पोजीशंस अगर हम बना रहे हैं तो हम एक स्टॉप लॉस ले सकते हैं इस शोल्डर के हाई का, जो कि 125 है। अब 125 के स्टॉप लॉस के साथ में 100 रुपीज से अगर एक सेल कॉल जनरेट हो रहा है तो टारगेट क्या होना चाहिए? एग्जैक्टली टारगेट इज हाइट, ये नेकलाइन से हेड तक की जो हाइट है इसके इक्विवेलेंट टारगेट कैलकुलेट किया जाता है। तो अगर 150 हेड का हाई है और नेकलाइन का लो जो है वो 100 रुपीज है, यानी कि 50 रुपीज का डिफरेंस है। इन 50 रुपीज के टारगेट हम इस 100 रुपीज के नीचे एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं, यानी कि 25 रुपए के स्टॉप लॉस के साथ में 50 रुपए के टारगेट के लिए एक पोजीशन शॉर्ट साइड में बनाई जा सकती है। यानी 100 के नीचे अगर फॉल आता है तो 50 रुपए तक ये फॉल कंटिन्यू होना चाहिए, यानी कि 1:2 के अंदर ये रिकमेंडेशन जनरेट हो सकती है। तो नेकलाइन के बिलो इस हैंड एंड शोल्डर के स्टॉप लॉस के साथ में इस बेसिकली हेड टू नेकलाइन के बीच का जो भी डिफरेंस है प्राइस का, उसको एज अ टारगेट कंसीडर किया जा सकता है। हमेशा टॉप ऑफ द ट्रेंड में बनता है, हेड एंड शोल्डर काफी रिलायबल पैटर्न होता है, जो कि मार्केट में एक रिवर्सल को इंडिकेट करता है। सिमिलरली जस्ट इसके अपोजिट पैटर्न होता है जो कि इनवर्स हेड एंड शोल्डर होता है। जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया कि हेड एंड शोल्डर टॉप ऑफ द ट्रेंड में बनता है, सिमिलरली बॉटम ऑफ द ट्रेंड में इनवर्स हेड एंड शोल्डर बनता है जस्ट अपोजिट टू दैट पैटर्न। जो कि आप देख पा रहे हैं इसमें हेड जो है वो डाउन साइड में आ गया विथ 2 शोल्डर्स, जो कि इंडिकेट कर रहा है रिवर्सल इन द मार्केट। दैट मींस कि डाउन ट्रेंड एंड हो चुका है और मार्केट यहाँ से रिवर्स करके अप साइड में जा सकता है। तो देख सकते हैं सिमिलरली यहाँ पर भी कॉल वैसे ही जनरेट करना है। नेक लाइन के जो भी हाईज है वहां से बाय पोजीशंस इनिशिएट करते हैं अबव दैट हाई, राइट शोल्डर के लो के स्टॉप लॉस के साथ में, और टारगेट प्रिडिक्ट कर सकते हैं हेड्स की और नेक लाइन की लेंथ का, यानी कि इन दोनों की नेक लाइन टू हेड के बीच का जो भी डिफरेंस है प्राइस का, दैट विल बी योर टारगेट पॉइंट। यहाँ से अगर कॉल जनरेट करके हम पोजीशंस लेते हैं राइट शोल्डर के स्टॉप लॉस के साथ में, इस बेसिकली डिफरेंस का टारगेट यहाँ पर कैलकुलेट किया जा सकता है। तो काफी रिलायबल पैटर्न होता है जो कि टेक्निकल एनालिसिस में मोस्ट ऑफ द टेक्नीशियन और चार्टिस्ट जो है इस पैटर्न को फॉलो करते हैं और इस पर रिलाई करते हैं। नेक्स्ट पैटर्न देखिए, अब इसका एग्जांपल भी ले लेते हैं चार्ट पर। कैंडलस्टिक चार्ट के बेसिस पर आपको क्लियरली समझ में आ जाएगा कि किस तरीके से ये फॉर्म होता है। अब देखिए ये जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया हेड एंड शोल्डर टॉप ऑफ द ट्रेंड में बनता है। यहाँ से डाउन साइड में मार्केट चलता हुआ आ रहा था, डाउन साइड से अप साइड में मार्केट चलता हुआ आ रहा था। यहाँ पर आके इसने एक शोल्डर फॉर्म किया, उसके बाद एक हेड फॉर्म किया, देन अगेन एक राइट शोल्डर फॉर्म किया और वहां से एक डाउन साइड का मोमेंटम हमको देखने को मिला। देखिए एक बार फॉल्स हुआ, फॉल्स होने के बाद वापस मार्केट अप साइड आया, बट उसने टॉप ऑफ दी राइट शोल्डर के टॉप को ब्रेक नहीं किया और अगेन से एक डाउनवर्ड मोमेंटम दिखाया। इस नेकलाइन के नीचे अगर हम कॉल जनरेट करते हैं तो वहां से एक अच्छा खासा डाउनफॉल आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पर देखने को मिला है, और इस हाई के स्टॉप लॉस के साथ, यानी कि स्टॉप लॉस भी नहीं हुआ और डाउन साइड में एक अच्छा खासा प्रॉफिट यहाँ पर हम लोग अर्न कर सकते हैं। तो इस पैटर्न को, ये काफी रिलायबल पैटर्न है, इस पैटर्न को आप मार्केट में वॉच कर सकते हैं, अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट पोजीशंस ले सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट पैटर्न होता है जो कि डबल टॉप एंड डबल बॉटम। बेसिकली दिस पैटर्न इज आल्सो जस्ट लाइक अ हेड एंड शोल्डर, बस इसमें क्या होता है, 2 शोल्डर होते हैं, हेड नहीं होता है। दिस इट लुक्स लाइक अ एम, अल्फाबेट एम, आप देख सकते हैं इस तरीके से एक एम फॉर्मेशन होता है। इसका जो जस्ट इनवर्स फॉर्मेशन होता है डबल बॉटम, लुक्स लाइक अ डब्ल्यू, यानी कि अल्फाबेट डब्ल्यू की अकॉर्डिंगली जो है ये दिखता है। अब इसमें हम बेसिकली किस तरीके का होता है, डबल टॉप, यानी कि वही टॉप ऑफ द ट्रेंड में एक डबल टॉप काइंड ऑफ फॉर्मेशन, यानी कि एक एम काइंड ऑफ फॉर्मेशन बनता है, जो कि इंडिकेट करता है कि रिवर्सल कहाँ मार्केट के अंदर देखने को मिल सकता है। सिमिलरली डाउन ऑफ द ट्रेंड में एक डब्ल्यू टाइप का पैटर्न बनता है, जो कि इंडिकेट करता है कि मार्केट डाउन ट्रेंड को अब खत्म कर चुका है और मार्केट यहाँ से रिवर्स होकर अप ट्रेंड को कंटिन्यू कर सकता है। ये देखिए डबल बॉटम का एक एग्जांपल, डब्ल्यू टाइप का पैटर्न, जैसे कि मैंने आपको बोला कि डाउन साइड का मार्केट, यानी कि हायर साइड से एक सेलिंग आती हुई दिखेगी, डाउन साइड में ये फॉर्मेशन फॉर्म होगा और वहां से ये इंडिकेट करेगा कि अब मार्केट अप साइड में जा सकता है। आपको इस चार्ट पर क्लियरली दिखाई दे रहा है एक डब्ल्यू टाइप का फॉर्मेशन यहाँ पर बना है और ये इसका नेकलाइन है। जैसे कि चार्ट पर यहाँ पर दिख रहा था, ये रहा इसका नेकलाइन, और इस नेकलाइन के हाई के ऊपर वापस से एक पोजीशन बाय साइड में इनिशिएट कर सकते हैं और डाउन साइड में जो टारगेट रहेगा वो इस पर्टिकुलर इस नेकलाइन से लेके और इस बॉटम, ये जो बॉटम बना है इसके बीच का डिफरेंस जो है दैट विल बी योर टारगेट पॉइंट। तो आप देख सकते हैं क्लियरली इसके हाई के ऊपर अगर पोजीशन ली होती तो स्टॉप लॉस बिल्कुल नहीं हुआ है। डाउन साइड में इसके बॉटम के टारगेट के साथ में हम पोजीशंस इस हाई के ऊपर, यानी कि इस नेकलाइन के हाई के ऊपर पोजीशंस ले सकते थे और यहाँ से मार्केट जो है वो पूरा अप साइड में रिवर्स होता हुआ दिखा है, जो कि टोटली रिवर्सल साइन है मार्केट के लिए। ये रहा एग्जांपल डबल टॉप का, जैसे कि मैंने बोला कि एक डाउन साइड से मार्केट अपवर्ड में जा रहा है और टॉप पर जाके एक फॉर्मेशन बन रहा है जो कि इंडिकेट कर रहा है कि रिवर्सल है। तो देखिए एक टॉप डबल टॉप काइंड ऑफ फॉर्मेशन यहाँ पर बना और उसके बाद में मार्केट में एक सेल ऑफ देखने को मिला। अगर यहाँ से कॉल जनरेट होता तो यहाँ पर यूजुअली इस एम काइंड ऑफ फॉर्मेशन के नेक लाइन के पास में आप कॉल जनरेट कर सकते थे, शॉर्ट साइड की पोजीशंस ले सकते थे और यहाँ से एक अच्छा खासा फॉल हमको देखने को मिला जिसके अंदर प्रॉफिट बुक किया जा सकता था। तो इस तरीके की पैटर्न जो कि काफी रिलायबल पैटर्न्स होते हैं, जो कि यूजुअली एक टेक्निकल एनालिस्ट और एक चार्टिस्ट जो है वो फॉलो करता है मार्केट के अंदर। अब बात करते हैं हम ट्राइंगल्स की, जो कि एक प्राइस पैटर्न्स के अंदर ही कवर होते हैं। बेसिकली ट्राइंगल्स होते क्या है, ट्राइंगल्स आप देख सकते हैं जस्ट एक असेंडिंग ट्राइंगल, डिसेंडिंग ट्राइंगल एंड सिमेट्रिकल ट्राइंगल। देयर आर टोटल 3 टाइप ऑफ ट्राइंगल्स होते हैं जो कि मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट होते हैं मार्केट के अंदर। असेंडिंग ट्राइंगल्स आप देख सकते हैं, जैसे कि चार्ट पर भी क्लियरली दिख रहा है कि मार्केट डाउन साइड से अप साइड में आया, एक टॉप टॉप कंटिन्यूसली मार्केट ने जो है अपने सिमिलर रखे, यानी कि 1, 2 एंड 3 यहाँ पर मार्केट ने टॉप्स को ब्रेक नहीं किया और फॉल दिखा के इस राइजिंग जो ट्रेंड लाइन यहाँ पर ड्रॉ की है उसका सपोर्ट को लेकर वापस से बाउंस होता हुआ नजर आया। यानी कि ये एक हॉरिजेंटल लाइन जो कि प्रायर टॉप्स को मैच करती हुई यहाँ पर बनी है और साथ में एक अपवर्ड स्लोपिंग ट्रेंड लाइन यहाँ पर ड्रॉ की गई है जो कि इन लोज को ब्रेक नहीं कर पा रही है, यानी कि इन लोज का सपोर्ट लेते हुए ड्रॉ हो रही है, जो कि इंडिकेट कर रहा है कि मार्केट जो है वो अप ट्रेंड में ही है, बिकॉज यहाँ पर लोज ब्रेक नहीं हो रहे हैं और यहाँ पर हाइज ब्रेक नहीं हो रहे हैं। बट जब इस पॉइंट पर आके देखा जाए कि असेंडिंग ट्राइंगल्स में हमेशा ब्रेकआउट जो है वो एक अपसाइड का ब्रेकआउट मिलता है, यानी कि ये 1, 2, 3 टाइम्स मार्केट यहाँ पर टेस्ट किया और उसके बाद में एक अपसाइड का ब्रेकआउट यहाँ पर देखने को मिला। तो इस तरीके के पैटर्न जब भी बनते हैं जो कि इंडिकेट करते हैं कि अप ट्रेंड को, यानी कि असेंडिंग ट्राइंगल हमेशा बाइंग साइड की पोजीशंस के लिए प्रेफरेबल होता है। अगर मार्केट 1, 2, 3 टाइम्स यहाँ पर टेस्ट करके वापस से एक बार टच कर रहा है इस हॉरिजॉन्टल ट्रेंड लाइन को, तो प्रोबेबिलिटी आर देयर कि अब यहाँ से ब्रेकआउट देखने को मिल सकता है। यूजुअली टेक्निकल एनालिसिस में हम लोग ये देखते हैं कि मार्केट 3 to 4 टाइम्स पर्टिकुलरली उस ट्रेंड लाइन को रिस्पेक्ट करना चाहिए, यानी कि पर्टिकुलर ट्रेंड लाइन और हॉरिजॉन्टल लाइन उसको अगर रिस्पेक्ट कर रहा है तो दैट मींस 4th टाइम या 5th टाइम वहां से एक बड़ा ब्रेकआउट या ब्रेकडाउन मार्केट में देखने को मिलेगा। आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पर क्लियरली तीन बार मार्केट ने इस लेवल को टेस्ट किया और उसके बाद में एक बड़ी रैली यानी कि अपवर्ड का तो यहाँ पर एक ब्रेकआउट देखने को मिला है। तो इन हाइस के ऊपर भी पोजीशंस बाय साइड की इनिशिएट कर सकते थे विद द स्टॉप लॉस ऑफ इमीडिएट लो, जो कि यहाँ पर ये इस पॉइंट का रहेगा और इस पॉइंट के स्टॉप लॉस के साथ में इस हाई पर अगर पोजीशंस बाय साइड में ली होती तो एक छोटे से स्टॉप लॉस यानी कि छोटे से रिस्क के साथ में एक बड़े रिवॉर्ड के लिए काम किया जा सकता था। तो ये एक असेंडिंग ट्राइंगल। सिमिलरली डिसेंडिंग ट्राइंगल होता है इसके जस्ट अपोजिट ऑफ दैट ट्राइंगल, जिसमें एक हॉरिजॉन्टल लाइन बॉटम पर ड्रॉ होती है और एक स्लोपिंग ट्रेंड लाइन जो है वो डाउनवर्ड में चलती हुई आती है। जैसे कि आप देख रहे हैं ये डाउनवर्ड ट्रेंड लाइन है और डिसेंडिंग ट्रेंड लाइन में ये बॉटम वहां पर बनते हुए दिख रहे हैं, जो कि इंडिकेट कर रहा है डाउन ऑफ द ट्रेंड, डाउन ट्रेंड को इंडिकेट कर रहा है, जो कि डिसेंडिंग ट्राइंगल में बॉटम जैसे ही ब्रेक होंगे एक ब्रेकडाउन जो है वो मार्केट में देखने को मिलेगा। सिमिलरली जैसी आप देख सकते हैं चार्ट पर भी क्लियरली दिख रहा है डिसेंडिंग ट्रेंड लाइन में डाउन साइड के जैसी सपोर्ट लेवल ब्रेक हुए और एक डाउन साइड की रैली जो है यहाँ पर आती हुई नजर आई है। अब बात करते हैं सिमेट्रिकल ट्राइंगल की। तो सिमेट्रिकल ट्राइंगल जो है वो काफी कंफ्यूजिंग पैटर्न होता है यूजुअली। इसमें हम ब्रेकआउट और ब्रेकडाउन मतलब इधर साइड ब्रेकआउट और ब्रेकडाउन जो है वो यूजुअली देखने को मिलते हैं सिमेट्रिकल ट्राइंगल। जैसे कि असेंडिंग और डिसेंडिंग में यहाँ पर क्लियरिटी रहती है कि असेंडिंग ट्राइंगल जब भी रहेगा अपवर्ड मोमेंटम अपवर्ड की रैली देखने को मिलेगी, डाउनवर्ड डाउन एंड डिसेंडिंग ट्राइंगल जब भी रहेगा डाउनवर्ड की रैली देखने को मिलेगी। बट सिमेट्रिकल ट्राइंगल इज अ वेरी कंफ्यूजिंग पैटर्न जो कि इधर साइड ब्रेकआउट दे सकता है, इधर अप साइड और डाउन साइड। आप देख सकते हैं सिमेट्रिकल ट्राइंगल किस तरीके से फॉर्म होता हुआ आ रहा है। अगर डाउन साइड से बनता हुआ आ रहा है यूजुअली तो इसमें एक बोल सकते हैं ट्राइंगल काइंड ऑफ फॉर्मेशन बनेगा जिसमें हायर लोज बनते हुए जाएंगे और हायर हाइज बनते हुए जाएंगे और इस तरीके से पैटर्न फॉर्म होता हुआ जाएगा, जो कि या तो अप साइड का ब्रेकआउट दे सकता है या डाउन साइड का। यूजुअली देखने को ये मिलता है कि ये मार्केट अप ट्रेंड में होता है और अप ट्रेंड में इस तरीके का सिमेट्रिकल ट्राइंगल जब भी बनता है तो एक कंटिन्यूएशन पैटर्न इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं। और कंटिन्यूएशन पैटर्न्स के अकॉर्डिंगली जब भी अपवर्ड ट्रेंड में अगर ये मार्केट में फॉर्म हो रहा है इस तरीके का पैटर्न, तो यूजुअली देखने को मिलता है कि मार्केट कंटिन्यू करेगा इस ट्रेंड को और अपसाइड का ब्रेकआउट देगा। सिमिलरली अगर डाउनवर्ड ट्रेंड में अगर ये बन रहा है और इस तरीके का ट्राइंगल सिमेट्रिकल फॉर्मेशन डाउनवर्ड ट्रेंड में बन रहा है तो ये एक्सपेक्ट किया जाता है कि ये डाउनसाइड मोमेंटम को और अभी कंटिन्यू करेगा। बट एज आई टोल्ड यू कि काफी कंफ्यूजिंग पैटर्न होता है। मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम ये कंटिन्यूएशन की जगह रिवर्सल का भी काम कर देता है, क्योंकि अप ट्रेंड में मार्केट एक बार जा रहा है और वहां से ब्रेकआउट की जगह कई बार यहाँ पर ब्रेकडाउन भी देखने को मिलता है। तो ये इस तरीके के पैटर्न्स जो है थोड़े से कम रिलायबल रहते हैं बिकॉज इधर साइड ब्रेकआउट यहाँ पर देखने को मिलता है और यहाँ पर एक बार लॉस की प्रोबेबिलिटी थोड़ी सी ज्यादा रहती है। तो यहाँ पर एक्सपीरियंस पर्टिकुलर उस टेक्निकल एनालिस्ट का काफी मैटर करता है कि वो मार्केट के बिहेवियर को किस तरीके से जज कर रहा है और मार्केट के बिहेवियर को प्राइस एक्शन को देखते हुए वहां से किस तरीके से मार्केट रिएक्ट कर सकता है, वो पर्टिकुलर चीज को वहां पर प्रिडिक्ट किया जा सकता है। ये एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल है असेंडिंग ट्राइंगल का जो कि आप देख पा रहे हैं। एक जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया था कि हॉरिजॉन्टल ट्रेंड लाइन है।
Sachin, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
We have audience from across the India.
Yeah.
So please use English as much as possible.
Sure, sir. Sure. So this is the example of ascending triangle as before I told you like what is the ascending triangle. So here you can see like this is the horizontal trend line which tested the 3 times this resistance point, and similarly one of the trend line, one of the upward sloping trend line is coming upside, which indicates the like breakout of that particular point. So here you can see, like after testing the 3 points 1, 2, and 3, here we have seen the particular breakout of this counter, and after that we have seen the further upside momentum in the particular counter. So here you can see that, like if we talk about like how we can generate the recommendations, so above that highs 1, 2, and 3 times this particular pattern test is this price, and above that levels we can initiate and we can make the positions in the upside with the stop loss of these points. As this is the upward sloping trend line, and this is stop loss of these points, we can initiate our buying positions above that levels, and we can expect the target, because this is the ascending triangle and this is the continuation pattern, and we are trading according to the trend, and according to the trend. So yes, above that level we can initiate a positions for the target of this. So you can see the huge rally in this particular triangle basis patterns. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sachin, for giving insight on all the chart patterns and how to read any particular chart and how to make best use of it. This would definitely help while doing trading on day-to-day basis. Thank you very much once again. Now we have a lot of questions from across India on these particular equity markets and relating to the technical charts. I'll take few of them. The first question which we have is, please explain different advantage and disadvantage in future versus option strategy. So the person wants to understand the advantage or disadvantage of strategies in future and options. So Mr. Sumit, Mr. Anish, Mr. Sachin, you can take.
Should I?
Yeah, please.
So see, as I understand, the main difference between options and futures is when you're doing futures, it is like buying or selling whatever options are there at the money price. So see, basically in options, you get time for adjustments. You can do different strangles, you can do straddles, or you can employ different types of variety of time to manage your positions. So basically in options, management is very much possible. And the thing is, the speed in options is very much lower compared to that of futures. So when you are doing futures, you should be like a sniper. The entry and exit should be precise. In options, you get time to adjust your positions. You get time to, like, say, convert your position in different things. So and the thing is, futures are more leveraged than options, I feel, because the quantity and quantum is also more. So for beginner, I would suggest doing options because it is slow compared to futures. So basically, precise entry and exit are more important in futures, and greater analysis and greater experience is required.
Thank you, Anishji. One more question which I would like to take is for Mr. Sumit. How to select stock for intraday trading? Means what all parameters one should consider while selecting a stock for intraday trading. Sumit, can you please light on this?
There are various parameters which you can consider for day trading. The more simple you keep, the more better you can do intraday trading. If anyone who wants to do intraday trading, they should look for 15-minute chart, 5-minute chart, 30-minute chart, or early chart. Daily chart will show you the trend, and once you are clear with the trend, you should go with 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute chart, which will give you the day trading levels, day trading momentum, based on which you can trade on daily basis. And when you do intraday, it should be purely intraday, purely with stop loss, purely with levels. Never ever trade without stop loss, without proper levels when it comes to intraday trading, when it comes to momentum trading, or when it comes to future and options trading. This is the this is very, very important, because many people trade without stop loss and they end up losing all the profits as well as the principal which they have. So my sincere request to all the 6,000 plus participants who are at present listening to us that if you are investing in a quality stocks for longer term time horizon, you can invest, but you need to average at lower levels. And if you are trading in markets for day trading, for momentum trading, for weekly trading, for future and options trading, you should always trade with stop loss. Never ever trade without stop loss. For intraday trading, please select 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart, 30-minute chart, and accordingly you can trade for day trade.
Sumit, we have a similar question on this particular line. So one of our participants wants to understand on the same line how to select a store for BTST or STBT. Like on the same line, what all parameters should be considered?
When you select a BTST stock or STBT stock, you should see the price action and volume action mostly in last 30 minutes or last 1 hour. That means the closing session of the day. From 2:30 to 3:30, you should observe and track the stocks which are showing momentum. That too with volume, and the price action should be in the and the price action in which the stock is moving. If suppose we are seeing a good volume activity with the upside price movement, there is a high probability that in next 1 or 2 days we can see a move around 2 to 5% in that particular stock. So the observation should be a moving average breakout, a price action breakout, and that too with volumes. And if the stock is moving up, there is a possibility that you can select that particular stock for a BTST call. And if stock is moving down, you can select that particular stock as a STBT counter. That should be purely for a day or 2-day trade. 90% of trade should be for 1 day. That means if you are taking a trade today, you should exit the trade next day in the early morning itself. In the next morning, 1 hour or 2 hours itself. You should not wait for a longer period because the stock gives move of around 2 to 5% next day itself. So these are the basic parameters which you need to understand while selecting the BTST and STBT trade. Apart from this, indicators are very important. Mr. Sachin Gupta must have spoken about the indicators. To have detailed explanation, to have detailed understanding of all the indicators and patterns, you need to read books. You need to see videos. You need to have practical experience in the markets. That will teach you, that will make you a more expert in taking all these trades. Only a professional can take such trades with proper stop loss. So if you are into markets, if you are full-fledged into markets, you should take such BTST and STBT trades for 1 or 2 days. And in such 1 or 2 days trade, if you are making 2%, more than 1%, 1% to 3% return, that is well enough. So you can go ahead with all this trade.
Thank you very much, Sumit, for. Now, moving on to the second part of the session. The second topic for today, which we have kept, is how to hedge into commodity markets. So, for that particular session, we have here Mr. Somesh Vaidya and Mr. Srikanth Kondia from MCX, Multi Commodity Exchange of India. So, just to brief you about Mr. Somesh, is heading business development function of MCX for Maharashtra state and has more than 15 years of experience into the commodity market. And Mr. Srikanth is currently heading the training and education function at Multi Commodity Exchange and has more than 25 years of experience into commodity equity and this particular field. And Mr. Srikanth is CMA by profession. So now over to you, Mr. Somesh and Mr. Srikanth. Thank you very much for giving us time. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. So very good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, the organizers, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Choice Booking, for giving us this platform today. And with more than 6,000 viewers, it's indeed a good opportunity for us to inform the viewers what commodities market is and how different it is from the capital market. So when we talk about capital market or share market in particular, I think so even the young guns today know that where and which stock to invest in. But when we talk about commodities market, we need to understand the physical aspect of the commodity. The word itself, commodities, means that it has got an underlying, and the underlying is a big, huge physical or the spot market. The spot market for commodities is broadly categorized into 3 to 4 different segments. One is the agricultural commodities, wherein India has fragmented growth of agri-commodities When we have bullion commodities, which is typically gold and silver, India being the largest consumer and importer of gold because we do not produce gold by ourselves. When we talk about energy products, we talk about crude oil or natural gas or electricity. And when we talk about metals, again, India is the largest consumer and one of the largest producers of metals also. So these four different segments typically confine commodity markets. And based on the physical aspects of these commodities, we have derivatives on these commodities being available for trading on the exchange platform. A brief about MCX. We started our operations in November 2003. So I would say we are 17-year young. And you know, at the age of 17, it's always a buoyancy in the person itself that what exactly is this new thing all about. So 2003, we started our operations. Erstwhile, the Forwards Market Commission was the regulator. But in September 2015, a watershed event happened wherein the SEBI took over the regulation of the commodity derivatives market. Presently, 91 commodities are notified by the central government, wherein derivatives of these individual commodities are allowed for trading on the exchange platform. We have a very lengthy, extensive trading hours. We start 9 a.m. in the morning, and it's extended up to 11:30 in the night. Primarily, the reason for extended trading hours are because for commodities which are internationally linked, wherein India is the price taker and not the price decider, since we do not have enough production, we refer to the international prices. And just to have an arm's length transaction of such commodities to pricing in India, we have an extended trading hours. So our markets are quite lengthy from 9 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. I always say, or generally it has been said, that there are four key pillars for any market, especially commodities market, or rather any market. One is the participant, or rather I would say first one is the product itself. Second pillar is, or the P is the participant. Third is the platform, the exchange itself. And the fourth and most important is the policy. When we talk about products, we have futures trading in commodities. We have options trading in commodities. And recently we have introduced index trading in commodities also. When we talk about participants, we have the hedgers on the one side who are exposed to commodity price risk, and they are either on the long side or the short side of the derivative market, be it futures or be it options. We have speculators, we have investors, we have financial investors. We have recently, the regulator has allowed participants like mutual funds, AIFs, PMS to start participating in commodity derivatives market. When we talk about platform, it's the exchange itself. It provides the technology for participants to connect. And last one is the pillar, or the P is the policy itself, wherein the SEBI, after taking over the aegis of commodity derivative segment, they have done a lot of improvements in terms of price management, in terms of risk management, in terms of policy decisions, which has helped the commodities market to grow forward. So the basic fundamental of commodity derivatives market are two. When we compare it to capital markets, when we talk about capital markets or share bazaar, it's basically the capital appreciation. I invest money and I'm looking for growth in my money. But when we talk about commodities market, it's the price risk and the price discovery. The price discovery is the price at which, the forward price at which the buyer and the seller are ready to hedge their positions. And when we talk about price risk management, it is about how effectively and efficiently you are able to use a derivative instrument to hedge your commodity price. In 2018, SEBI came out with a circular saying that all the listed entities have to clearly give in their balance sheet about the derivative instrument they are using, so that financial investors in those companies are aware how effective the hedge, commodity hedge or the currency hedge is being used. And as every one of you are a chartered accountant out here and you understand your balance sheets very easily, similarly in commodities also we prepare our own balance sheet, which decides the course of the price movement. So when we talk about balance sheet, every commodity has its balance sheet, as in what would be the opening stock of the commodity in the physical market, what is the consumption of that commodity in India, are we going to produce more based on the monsoon, or are we going to import more based on the requirements? For example, gold. We import around 600 to 700 tons of gold every year. 450 tons of gold is being used for jewelry making and 150 tons for other uses. When we talk about agri-commodities, are there any carryover stocks left with the agencies? How much are we going to produce? What's the India's consumption, and what would be the anticipated closing stock? So any shortfall or excess of that stock would definitely decide what would be the price movement of that commodity. And that's where the role of the underlying physical participants come into play, wherein they can come on the exchange platform and make use of a derivative instrument to help manage their prices. As far as the viewers out here are concerned, my message to them would be inform your clients who are exposed to commodity price risk to at least have a look at what the commodity exchange platform is and how can they make use of such instrument to effectively manage their price, so that ultimately they do not take a hit when the raw material prices go up or the finished goods price come down. So we do have products which could help them, if not effectively in a ratio of 1:1 to manage their losses, but at least they can to some extent make use of a derivative instrument to manage their price volatility. With this brief background, I would like to hand over this session to Mr. Srikanth, who would take over a presentation on how to hedge in commodity derivatives. And post that, we'll be more than happy to take any questions if you have. Thank you from my side.
Thank you, Sumesh. I would like to share my screen. I hope I can do that. Right. I hope you can see the screen, and I hope everyone can hear me as well.
Yes, sir, I can.
Right. Okay, then I'll just get going. There are a lot of things you can do, a lot of strategies can be made, but whichever market you might be in. This particular session that I had in the limited time, I hope I'll put across the whole idea of hedging and why it is so important. I'm sure that you have all realized that in the pandemic that we have been going through, we are talking about changes in supply chain. Yeah, this is one of the biggest words that we have come across, supply chain. Basically, it's all about commodities. If you think about it, while we were locked up at home during the pandemic, we were all trying to procure consumer goods or whatever goods that we need for running our households. But somebody has to produce those goods, and to produce them, you need raw materials. So if we come back to the commodity market, okay. And then once you're looking at procuring commodities at different prices, because the prices keep changing, and I'll just explain to you that in the slides which follow. But one thing you must remember, that almost 85% of commodities that we consume are imported, which means they're impacted by currency fluctuations. Okay, so every time there's a currency fluctuation, or they might be, which might be caused because of many other things, you will see that it has an impact on the price of the raw materials, which the users, the industry has to pay to procure that raw material. Okay. Now, before we get going into all that, I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page, because I understand there are more than 6,000 people watching. So I think there might be people who have more information than those who have less. This is my very favorite slide, which I use all the time. What do we trade on a commodity exchange? We don't trade commodities. I want you to all to be very clear on your mind. We do not trade commodities on commodity exchanges. What we trade are commodity contracts. Okay. What contracts do we trade on commodity exchange? We trade futures and options contracts. Okay. That is what is traded on commodity exchanges. Now, what exactly are commodity futures and options contracts? They are really derivative contracts. Now, derivative is like a frightening word to many people, but really it's got nothing in it. Really, honestly speaking, I personally think I can just break it down in a couple of seconds for you. So what really is a derivative? 3 characteristics. 1, a derivative allows you to buy or sell in the future at a price that you think is going to be the price today. So whatever price I think is going to be the price in the future, right now, whatever price I think, at that price I could buy or I could sell. And how do I do that? By buying a contract. What kind of a contract? Derivative contract. The second characteristic of a derivative is that when I'm buying or selling these contracts, I have this flexibility of entering and exiting from that contract at will between today and that day in the future. So the contracts are always in the future, and I can enter it and exit it. So these are exchange traded derivatives as opposed to an OTC derivative where I enter the market and I'm stuck with that contract up until the end because it is between two people. Now, one more characteristic of a derivative is that all derivatives come to an end. They come to an end on the contract date. In other words, all derivative contracts have a date on which they come to an end. And in fact, when I'm buying and selling today a derivative contract, it is not just a general, I'm buying something in the future. I'm buying very specific to a particular date and a particular time. So I may have a contract like, say, 5th of April contract. That is not specific. 5th of April, 11:30 p.m. Now that is very, very, very specific. And hence all contracts are in the future at a particular point in time. And why do we have these contracts? Why is it that governments around the world, because there are 86 exchanges across the world, why are exchanges there? There must be a purpose for that. And the purpose is for price discovery and managing price risk. These are considered the pillars of a commodity exchange. Managing price risk, well, prices keep fluctuating all the time. And hence, if I'm a consumer of a commodity or if I want to sell the raw material, then what happens here is that I'm affected by price movements. And I need an instrument, a derivative instrument, to manage that price risk. And hence, we have commodity exchanges, which are built on these two pillars, managing risk and price discovery. What is price discovery? It's nothing but discovered price. Where does this price where does it get discovered? This price gets discovered wherever there is a big market. So wherever there are big market, more buyers and more sellers. A market which has many buyers, many sellers will always come out with the best price. And hence price discovery is taking place across the world depending on the commodity. For example, if I'm looking at crude oil, then I'm looking at, depending on the variety of crude oil, it could be NYMEX for WTI, or it can be for a Brent crude, it could be the ICE exchange. For gold, it can be the CME exchange. For base metals, it could be the London Metal Exchange, and so on. And hence, the price discovery is taking place across the world. We convert it into rupees at the going exchange rate, and the trading begins. Now, different markets, they are all under the umbrella of finance. We have different asset classes. And just now, for the last 1 hour, we have been talking about the technical analysis pertaining to the capital markets. But of course, technical analysis can also be used in the other markets, including the commodity markets. And hence, all these asset classes, they are all interlinked, which means anything happening in one asset class has an impact on the other. For example, we have been reading in the press today, yesterday, and so on. And I think one of the earlier speakers mentioned that the markets are going down because people are selling. What normally happens is every time there's a buy in the capital market because of people bringing in money from abroad, or every time you see the sell in the capital markets because people are they're selling in this market, in the capital market. What it does is every time there's a movement in capital markets, it is causing money to come into the country and go out of the country, having an impact on the exchange rate. So every time you see that people are selling, especially FIs are selling, then you keep an eye on the exchange rate, and then you will see that it has an impact on the commodity markets, because commodity markets are impacted by currency. Because in India, all commodities that are traded on exchanges like MCX are in rupees. A debt market, what is a debt market? Debt market is what's the underlying for a debt market? The interest rates are the underlying for a debt market. And because of the pandemic, we have seen that many countries have been playing around with interest rates. They're trying to bring down interest rates to encourage their own economies from performing better. And with the result, every time there's a change in interest rates, it has an impact on the currency exchange rate. Every time there's a change in the currency exchange rate, it has an impact on the commodity prices. So this particular slide, on which I spent a couple of minutes now, it's very important when you're trading in derivatives, because when you're trying to price something in the future, not only must you look at what is happening today, but you must also try and have a perception of what could happen between today and that future date, the future date on which you're trying to buy that contract, a future contract. Okay, so let's see what exactly derivatives are all about. Yeah, there are two markets that you should be very, very clear in your mind. One is a spot market and one is a derivative market. Spot market is when I just go out, pay money and buy the goods. Yeah, as we can, that particular spot market, according to the Indian law, we say all trades within 11 days. 11 days. Anything beyond 11 days may be a derivative. That is as per the law is concerned. But what exactly is a derivative? It is nothing. It's just a financial instrument. Derivatives are financial instruments. They're allowing you to buy these instruments or sell these instruments. But what was most important is that both these markets, they are working in tandem. They're both there. They're in parallel. So I can today go to the market and buy in the spot, and I can today sit on a terminal and buy in the future. Both these markets are there together. But what is happening here is that when I'm buying in the future, I look at the spot prices and figure out what is happening in the market today, then try and figure out what might happen between today and the day in the future. And based on that, I'll buy or sell contracts in the future. Okay. Now, here I just want to stop for a couple of seconds and just digress. And I'll tell you, there are different types of people who come to the market. Okay. There are those whom we call the investors, and there are those who are the hedgers. And I'm going to talk on the hedgers right now. But what is important here is that you should realize that you cannot have a hedger if you don't have an investor. Okay, investors are extremely important. For every one hedger, you will find at least 7 to 10 investors. Yeah, so that is the kind of a huge number of investors are required. What am I basically talking about? I'm talking about the biggest word in finance, risk. So while a hedger is mitigating his risk, investor is taking on that risk in the hope of making some money. In the final conclusion, a hedger, his aim is not to make money, but definitely not to make a loss. Whereas the aim of an investor is to make money. And hence, they both work in tandem. And it's extremely important that we realize the role that an investor plays so that a hedger can manage his risk. Okay, so what are derivatives? In summary, financial instruments. They derive from the spot market, as we call another asset. The other asset is a spot market. Okay, now, one more little thing before I get into an example of hedging for you. First of all, you must understand spot price plus holding cost plus or minus perception gives you the futures price. Okay. Now, the futures price, of course, I'm basically, because I have limited time, I'm focusing on futures. But when I say futures price, you can even call it a derivative price. Yeah, a derivative cost or a price. So suppose I'm trying to find out what is going to be the price of a commodity on, say, on the 5th of April, 2021. Yeah, that is my aim. I'm trying to find out what is going to be the price on that particular date. Now, I can take the easy route, which is what most of the people do. They just open the screen, look at what the trade is going on, and then they just bid 1 rupee up or 1 rupee down. That's the way many people trade, but that is not the scientific method of trading. What you need to understand is that when I'm trying to arrive at a price in the future, I start with the spot price. Yeah, and that spot price is coming from that pillar of commodity exchange called price discovery. So the price discovery which is taking place is helping you to identify the spot price, today's price. Okay, and to that, I add the holding cost. And what exactly is this holding cost? It's all the cost of carry, cost of money, your net present value that you study. Yeah, when you're doing a chartered, we study all that. So is the cost of money. Now, what cost of what money? It means that if I buy the commodity now and keep it till the 5th of April, how much is it going to cost me? That is what I mean by cost of money. Interest loss, that is it. Because if I buy today, then my money is not earning me interest. So there's interest loss. locked into the inventory because I bought the commodity now and I have to keep it somewhere. And the fact that I'm keeping it somewhere, then I'm of course burdened by a warehousing cost or an insurance cost, security cost, all other kinds of costs coming. And that is what we call a holding cost. So what is the cost on the 5th of April? It is going to be today's cost plus the holding cost. Well, this everybody knows. There's nothing strange about this. Everybody knows this. What is a perception? That is the challenge. The challenge is about the perception of what could happen to the price between today and the 5th of April. That is where the markets come in. And that is where you need a lot of knowledge here. And that knowledge comes from two little factors. Yeah, that is coming from what we call experience. So your experience tells you that what you can expect, in which direction the price can go. And the other one is research. And research is based on what? Research is based on fundamental research of that commodity that on which you're trying to buy a futures contract. And technical analysis, which we have been talking about the whole morning. So technical analysis, research will help you to arrive at a perception. You may be right or wrong. But remember, between today and tomorrow, even if I come with a perception and something happens in the market between the intervening period between today and the 5th of April, you will find the price will start moving again. But the beauty of the futures market is that you can come out of your position at will between 9 a.m. in the morning, 11:30 p.m. at night, and you can come out of the market. And by the way, the reason why we trade till 11:30 in the evening is because most of the prices are coming from Western exchanges. And those exchanges start operating a little late in the evening. And to give a chance to traders in India, we keep our exchanges open till 11:30 p.m. in the night. So that any change happening in the world, a person in India who has got a position or wishes to enter into a position has an equal chance of defending his position or entering a position and trying to make some money. Right. So have you noticed some things that have happened in the last few days? Interest rate changes. Yeah. During the pandemic, many countries have reduced interest rates, which have impacted on exchange rate. You've seen that in rupees, the rupee has become so strong compared to the dollar. And I'm just talking about the last, say, 6 months. One of the reasons is a lot of money has come into the country for various reasons. Many people think that Indian economy has got a lot of potential, and that is why they're bringing in money into the country, and which is why it is having an impact on commodity rates, exchange rate, and hence it has an impact on prices as well. Now, Indian reserves have gone up. So every time you see a strong reserve, forex reserves, it is actually an indicator to the rest of the world that India is getting into a stronger position, which in turn has an impact on strengthening the currency. And supply and demand for products, we have seen that suddenly there's a rush, there's a demand, huge demand for raw materials, which is going on because everyone is anticipating a change. In fact, just a couple of days ago, we have seen a prediction that, we are talking about a GDP of 11%. So which means that there's going to be, the minute we talk about GDP, we're talking about a growth coming in the economy. And even, by the way, just want to tell you here, although I'm talking about they all have an impact on commodity prices, I want you to be very clear that if you are investing in stocks of consumer goods, if you're investing in stocks of say automobile sector, do remember that their prices on the stock markets gets impacted not just by how many vehicles they sell, but their bottom line, which is one of the ingredients there, is the procurement cost of the raw material. So if you're looking at the procurement cost of the raw material, and if you can manage that risk, then you will be ensuring that that particular stock price will appreciate. Yeah, and that company might even be able to give you a higher dividend just for that reason. Now here, I'm just building up for the hedging, and I've just got a very limited time, I think. But I just want to tell you here that you have hedgers on one side and investors on the other side. I've already talked about that. And these are the guys, investors are people who are trying to take the risk, and hedgers are the ones who are trying to get rid of risk. And here I just want to tell you one thing. that you might be auditing companies. Yeah. In my life, I too have been an auditor. I've audited many companies. And if you are auditing a company which is not hedging and they are dependent on the raw materials or they are dependent on selling of their raw material, then you must be you are in the right position to tell them that manage price risk. And you can do that using hedging strategies that I'm going to talk about. So I'm coming to a hedging strategy. We can break strategies into long hedge strategies and short hedge strategies. First, I'm talking about the long hedge strategy here. Now, here is an example of a long hedge strategy. Now, hedging, it just basically means no profit, no loss. The whole idea of hedging is I'm not trying to make money, but I'm definitely not trying to make a loss. Long is just like in the stock market. Going long means I'm buying. What am I buying? I'm buying the contract. I'm buying a futures contract. And hence, I'm buying a contract and I'm going long. Now, you look at this, what is happening here? Like I already told you in the third slide today that both markets exist in tandem. They're both there working in parallel. So I have a physical or a spot market and I have a futures market. Both are playing together, right? Now, on the 1st of January, of course, we are today, I'm sorry, we are towards the end. I should have changed the date. But assuming I'm on the 1st of January, I could buy my raw material, which might be gold if I happen to be a jeweler. Then I could have bought these goods and kept it in my vault, or I could have bought some copper and kept it in my go down or a warehouse because I'm anticipating prices to go up. But instead of buying it and keeping it for 3 months or 2 months or whatever, whereby my money gets locked and my holding costs go up, instead of doing that, I do not buy the physical good. Instead, I buy the futures contract. I buy the futures contract, and how much money does it cost me to buy the contract? It costs me approximately 10% of the value, which is the margin money. And here too, that margin money is refunded to me if I square up my position. So margin monies are just blocked in my account and they are it's my money and it is given back to me. So instead of buying the physical commodity, I buy the futures contract. And why am I buying it? Because I'm anticipating prices to go up. And assuming the price goes up, then I can sell that contract. And we call that squaring up my position. So I square up my position. I buy the contract, sell the contract. Whatever money I make here will take care of any price increase that might have happened in the physical market. So let's look at this with numbers to make it very clear. So for example, here on the 1st of January, the price of gold for 10 grams is 50,186. Do I buy it? Of course not. I don't buy it. Instead, because I know that I'll be suffering a holding cost. Instead, I buy a futures contract at 48,842. Do I pay so much money? No, I don't. I only pay about 10% of that, which is blocked up in my account. Then on the 15th of March, when I actually need the commodity, on that date, I sell the contract. And by selling the contract, I'm lucky that the price has gone up as per my perceptions. My perceptions are based on fundamental research, technical analysis, and my understanding of the commodity, which is coming out of experience. So assuming I'm right and the price does go up, then on the futures contract, I make a bit of money here. I made 2,360 per 10 grams. So what is the cost for me? I go to the market, in the spot market, I buy at the rate of 51,900. You can see the spot market price has increased. So what is my cost? My cost is 51,900 less the profit I've made in the futures of 2,360. So my procurement cost is 49,540. If you think about it, it's even lower than if I had bought it at the beginning of the year. Now, is this hedging? This is 50% hedging. Where's the other 50%? The other 50% is, what if I was wrong in my perception? What if the price had not increased, but the price had come down? Then what happens? Now, remember, I've already bought the contract. I've already bought the contract at 48,842. You can see on here, 48,842. I've already bought this contract. But instead of the price going up, the price has come down. I square up my position and I suffer a loss on the futures trade. Go to the spot market, procure the commodity at 48,900. What is my procurement cost? My procurement cost is 48,900 plus the loss I've suffered of 542. And hence it is 49,442. So hence by hedging my position, I'm in the region of 49,540 and 49,442. And hence this is an example of hedging using a long hedge strategy. Let's look at the same thing with a short hedge strategy. Now, this is something that you see in the real life. It can happen that I have already got an inventory. I bought this inventory, it's lying in my godown. So and I'm anticipating prices to fall. I'm anticipating prices to fall. However, I already got this inventory. Now you might worry, you might be asking, why did you purchase the inventory when all research is telling you the price is going to fall? Now, in reality, in real life, what happens is many times people who are dependent on raw materials, they get into long-term contracts, what we call back-to-back contracts, in which case, whichever direction the price moves, they are bound by contract. There's contractual obligation to procure the commodity at a pre-agreed price that you might have entered into. And hence, I already have this commodity. And I'm saying, oh my God, why did I buy this commodity at that particular price? I'm anticipating prices to go down. So what in such situation, I can do a short hedge strategy. I sell the contract. And if I'm right, and if the prices go down, I buy it back again. I make money on the futures, which will take care of the loss I might have suffered because of prices going down here. Let's look at this with numbers. With numbers is something like this. So here we are on the 1st of January. The spot price is 48,850 and the future price is 46,900. You can see this. I put this in red. Is because this gold has already been purchased at this price. I'm already stuck with this 48,850. Can I do something about it? Yes, I can. What I do is I sell the contract at 46,900, and assuming I'm right and the price does fall, the price falls to 45,700. So I end up making money on the contract. What is my procurement cost now? My procurement cost is 48,850. And the amount of money that I have clawed back from the futures market. And hence my procurement cost is 47,650, which actually makes me more competitive with my other people in the same trade, my competitors. But again, this is only 50% of a hedge. What if the market goes up? What if the vaccine does not work? And people say, oh my God, the economy is not going to recover. Oh my God, I need to find some alternative place to put my money. Oh my God, let me buy some gold. So people start moving again towards gold, and the price, instead of falling, as was my perception, the price starts going up. What happens then? I have already sold the contract at 46,900. When the price starts moving upwards, I square up my position. I make a loss on the futures contract. And then, remember, I've already purchased at 48,850 because of the back-to-back agreement. What is my purchase cost now? It is 48,850 plus the 400 rupees loss that I've suffered. And hence, so it is still lower than the market price on the 15th of March. So you can see that I'm still in the range bound within that particular region, in that particular range of prices. Now, the point of the matter here is that once I'm hedged, it does not matter which direction the price moves. And I don't need a very large procurement department once I'm hedged. I don't need to look for people who will try and procure the material from X source or Y source or Z source, because once I'm hedged, it doesn't matter. And also this particular short hedge strategy, what it's telling me is that even if I find myself in a bad situation because of a previous bad decision, I can still make that position good because opportunities are there galore in the derivative segment. Okay, so what is the benefit of hedging? The benefits of hedging is I can lock into the price. Okay, I can ensure better cash flow management because if I am buying in the future, I know how much money I'm going to need. And hence, I can make arrangements for the money, start making arrangements now. I can deal with the banks. I can get better deals with banks. I can negotiate interest terms with banks. I can negotiate the payback terms with banks, and I can ensure better cash flow management. It's also an insurance against price risk. Better inventory management. If I don't have the goods now, I don't need a warehouse. By mistake, if I have already invested in a warehouse or a vault, I could perhaps lend it out to somebody else and make extra money there. And by doing hedging, I can focus on the core business activity rather than trying to waste my time trying to procure it and trying to find a place to sell it. So I can do a much better job by focusing on the core activity, ensuring that the quality of my commodity is good, ensuring that I'm more competitive, and by ensuring that quality is better as opposed to my competitors. It's the benefit of hedging. Now, this is just like, I just put this in because I also want you to understand that there are exchanges worldwide. There's something like 86 exchanges worldwide. Every exchange has got something special because price discovery is happening around the world. Now, what affects prices of commodities? Yeah, ruling prices in international markets, currency exchange rates, geopolitical factors. The minute there's something like a war-like situation, it has an impact on stock markets, has an impact on exchange rates. We are all aware of that. Trade policy regulations. Yeah, and hence we have to keep a lookout. For example, the budget which is coming on the 1st of February. We want to see if there's any changes happening. Economic factors, we want to look at economic conditions, recessions, inflations. You have to keep a track of all that. And this is where the research comes in. You need to have good research because you're not just looking at what is happening today. When you're buying in the future, you need to understand that I need to have a finger on the pulse of the world economy. Now, other thing is commodity-specific events are also there. There's some events which will have an impact on crude. There might be some event which might have impact on agriculture commodities because of rainfall, weather, aphids, or all kinds of insects and things like that we saw last year. And then finally is demand and supply and inventory levels have an impact on commodity prices. But there's one factor I missed out here, which you're very well aware of, COVID-19 pandemic. It too has an impact on prices of commodities. And the reason I put that in red is because I want you to understand that if you have a hedging strategy in place, a hedging strategy can take care of even COVID-19. COVID-19 ke baap ka bhi, it can take care of that. Yeah. So COVID-19 is not a big deal. Yeah. But we can take care of it with hedging strategies. Okay. Now I just want to sum up by just telling you a couple of things. One is LODR. I think most of you might be familiar with this. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, they came out with something called listing obligation and disclosure requirements. Yeah, that means all listed companies after 21st of September 2015, if they hedge, then they have to disclose in the books of accounts, right? And all these companies must have committees, including a risk management committee. And I'm sure that if you read the balance sheets of companies generally have risk management committees which have got a good proportion of directors on that. Yeah, the principles of governing of disclosure and obligation. I'm not getting into all this because I'm sure there's a shortage of time, but I just want you to tell you a couple of things that from a hedging point of view, for auditors, you need to be very clear to identify the hedge item. What are you hedging? Hedge instrument. Which derivative instrument are you using to hedge that hedge item? You must understand what a fair value of hedge instrument is. And when you're trading on the commodity exchange, the fair value is not a big deal. The fair value of a commodity or raw material, for example, would be the closing price on the 31st of March. Yeah, the closing price on the 31st of March of a raw material would become the fair value, which has been identified by trading that has taken place on a contract. So fair value of hedge instrument you need to understand, and hedge effectiveness you need to understand, because these are the 4 points that from hedge accounting point of view that you should be very, very clear about. Hedge effectiveness is just basically trying to tell you that did you hedge and was it effective? If you're not effective, then it is a speculative trade. Okay. Important points, commodity derivatives. That is what we talked about. We have talked about the possible commodity price risks. We have talked about what the benefits of hedging are. We have just discussed LODR and disclosures. I wish I had more time to get into all that. And hedge accounting. So this is what is very important from the point of view of all of us, that we must understand that although there are hedgers who should come to the market and hedge their positions using broking firms who are members of commodity exchanges will become the conduit for large companies to hedge. So they'll hedge via broking firms. And once they hedge, then they are least affected by the movements of prices, whichever direction they move. And finally, who is on the other side taking the risk? It is investors who are taking the risk. And the investors are coming and trying to take the risk because they want to try and make some money. And we are doing on the commodity exchange, we are doing anywhere from 30,000 crores to 35,000 crores of business every working day. Yeah, 35,000 crores, not a small amount of money. So basically, there's a huge volumes which are happening here, trading that's happening here. So you're not getting into a dead market, you're getting into one of the most important markets in the world. Learn this trade, understand this market. For those of you auditors, encourage your clients to hedge their risk. So with that, I end my session and I'll take questions now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shrikant, Mr. Somesh, for such a wonderful session. It would definitely help all of us in giving advice to our clients to hedge their position to avoid any kind of wide fluctuations in the market, which we must be seeing during all the times. So once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll take few questions. We have a short of time, so I'll select one or two questions. So
Shrikant, can you just stop the screen share? If we can see you then.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So one question which we have is, on the exchange, all the contracts are future dated, like some March contract, April contract, these types of. Is there any way anybody can identify the spot price in the exchange for any particular commodity on the exchange available?
So the spot prices are every day displayed on our website. For certain commodities, we do it not just once a day, we do it twice a day and thrice a day. We follow something called a polling method. We poll these prices from across the markets across India, okay? And we display the spot prices. The spot prices are easily available on our website. Okay. So that is a starting point for everybody. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Now we have one question regarding the chart trend analysis. So the question is all about what particular period which we need to consider for a particular trend analysis, like any weekly chart, monthly chart, and which kind of chart anybody should refer for different types of analysis. So this particular question would be for Sumit or Sachin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would like to take this question. See, if you are looking for the positional purpose, like if you are investing for the positional, like for the long-term purpose, then you should have to analyze the daily and weekly or a monthly chart, so that you can get the more clarity about the trend, particularly trend. But yes, if you are looking for like 1 or 2 days investment or for an intraday, so you should be focused on the 60-minute charts, like hourly charts, 15-minute charts on a 30-minute chart, so that you can get the more opportunity to trade in the intraday or for 1 or 2.
Okay. So due to short of time, we would not be able to take any more questions. Now I would request CA Sunil Patodia. Yes, please.
Although we don't have time, but I think those who are interested and those who can continue, let them listen from experts what is the reply. You can hear for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
I also have some question in my mind, but you first take questions, then I will ask.
Okay. So one question regarding the ETFs and more participation into the commodity market. The question is all about like gold ETFs are trading into the market, due to which retail investors are able to take the price fluctuation benefit of gold. So is there any plan or anything which are coming for other commodities also, Mr. Somesh and Shrikant?
Sir, would you take up? Fine. So as far as ETF is concerned, I believe gold ETF is the only product available in the capital or the equity market right now, which I believe is either a 1 gram or 0.1 gram contract available. And there are, I think, so 8 to 10 AMCs running gold ETF. Similar to that, we have gold petal contract, which is a 1 gram traded contract, a deliverable contract, which means you get a 1 gram coin in your account, or demat account, or a compress account, as we say, and that truly reflects the price of the underlying commodity, which is gold. As we've been talking about and dwelling about the spot price of the commodity, that's how the gold petrol contract also trades based on the price of the underlying commodity, which is a gold spot price. We have gold futures or the 1 gram petrol contract available. Probably we are working on other ETF products, maybe silver. Probably once we get the approval from the regulator, the market would have that. But as of now, akin to gold ETF, we have gold petrol contracts available on the exchange.
Okay. Now, one more question which we have is regarding like the volatility in the market. For Sumit, we have a question, Mr. Sumit. See, how this particular volatility can be ascertained, or how the maximum benefit of this volatility can be taken using this particular charts analysis? How one can get best out of this volatility?
Hello everyone. See, volatility is required and volatility is must. If markets are not volatile, we will never be able to trade. We will never be able to make money. So make this volatility as your very good friend, so that you can make the best use of this volatile moves. People are afraid of volatile moves because they feel that it's very difficult to take positions. I get excited when the markets are volatile, because if the markets will remain stable, we will never be able to take or make money, or we will never be able to get the benefits which we are getting in the markets at present when the markets are volatile. Of course, it's very difficult to trade in the volatile markets, but if you have sound knowledge, if you have experience, you can trade in the volatile market. Now, to trade in the volatile market, the best thing is you can have the use of technical analysis. In technical analysis, whenever the markets are volatile, you should always take contra call. Please, I will repeat once again. Please understand this thing. Whenever the markets are volatile, you should always take contra call. For example, in last 5 days we have seen that the equity markets were very volatile, and in a single day we were seeing a move of around 200 to 300 points in Nifty. If I talk of commodities, gold and silver are very volatile. In last 5 days, silver has given a move of around 7,000 rupees. एक दिन में we have seen that silver was moved up by 2,000, 3,000 rupees. Gold gave move of around 500 to 800 points. So in such volatility, it's always better to take contra calls. When market gives sudden dip, instead of making short positions, instead of making a short positions at lower level, you should take contra call by initiating a long positions with a stop loss below support level. When the market gives sudden upside move, instead of taking a long positions at higher levels, you should take a short positions near the resistance level with a stop loss placed above the resistance level, so that you can make the benefit of this contra move. So ज़्यादा detail के लिए for detail understanding, please get in touch with our team. We are available on all social media platforms. If you want, you can understand our videos. If you want, you can understand our reports. You can talk to our research team and make the best use of this volatility. Make volatility your friend, you will make money.
I want to take the next with all experts. Last Saturday we have a variety of experts from mutual fund. So I asked them, the mutual fund have a very good exposure in stock market, but in commodity market they have a very less presence. So volatility good. A person who is interested in investment only, but at the same time he is having over engagements, will not get much time to understand the volatility. While the mutual fund are the friends of the investors. So, Somesh and Sumit, where do you see the future of the mutual fund players, especially who want to take benefit of stock market as well as commodity market?
Sumit ji, you may please start.
Please.
See, as far as mutual funds are concerned, those who are not able to take time and those who have money and those who want to invest. See, I think now at present, we have four asset class: equities, commodities, real estate, and fixed deposit. If I talk of fixed deposit already are below 5% level. Real estate property gives return if you hold for 20, 15, 25 years. Now, next is equities, commodities. Now, if you want to invest, if you want to make money, and if you want to grow or increase your capital, the only asset class which gives good return in short term can be equity or commodity. To those people who are not able to give spare time, not able to give time because of their XYZ commitments or because of their XYZ profession, I would advise them to go ahead and invest with the funds because there are professionals who are taking care of your money and they are involved in day-to-day activities. They are there in and out in the market throughout the day, throughout the year. So you can trust them, you can invest in the funds, select quality funds which have which have given good performance in the past couple of years and invest with them so that you can make money. See, either you need to give time to the market or you need to be dependent on the fund. Now, decision is yours. If you are able to give time, if you are able to spend money, invest directly. If you are not able to give time and if you are able to only give money, invest in mutual funds. These are the two options in which you can make money, in which you can spare time. I had given in the starting 15 minutes, I had already said that in last 8 to 10 months, there are approx 60 lakh participants who have entered in the market who are directly investing in the stock market. Those who are not able to give time, they are investing in the mutual funds. So the scope is huge. बहुत लोगों को अभी इंडिया में इन्वेस्ट करना बाकी है awareness will keep on increasing awareness will keep coming in if your money is not giving you proper return in any other asset class then this is the only place where you can make money in short term medium term and long term the only thing you need to know is strategy timing if you are able to time the market if you are able to make the strategy you will make money so I think mutual fund is the place where people who are not able to give time they should invest in
Sir, I would like to add what Sumit ji said is, as far as mutual funds are concerned in commodities, it's just recent that the regulator has allowed these AMCs to start participating in exchange-traded commodity derivatives. There are certain set of regulations that they have set out, and I would say that as on date, there are 2 to 3 AMCs who have already invested in commodities to the tune of 80 to 100 crores. But still in the nascent stage, the regulators are open to suggestions from these AMCs to open up the market for commodity investments. I'm sure going forward in next couple of years, you would see a lot of AMCs coming into commodities, especially when we consider gold and silver as a financial asset and not a commodity. So, because gold is to be considered as currency only for me. आप रात को भी 11 बजे जाके ज़वेरी बाजार में आप बेच सकते हो माल को. So it's more of a financial asset than a commodity, and people understand gold, or other ladies understand gold very well as compared to a financial investor. So I'm sure that a lot of AMCs are considering investment in gold. Since commodities are a delivery-backed transaction when it comes to expiry of the contract, so that's where the people are understanding the nuances of the investment. And I'm sure once that is sorted out, in next couple of years, you would see a lot of AMCs active on commodity segment also.
So, number of participants in commodity increasing very slow. So, when we likely to see the equivalent number in stock market as well as commodity market?
Shall I take that? I just want to say that it is low as compared to the stock markets, which are there for a longer duration. Besides, what we have in the commodity market is not a cash market. It is more of a derivative market, a little more difficult to understand for the general public, although it is not so complex. So it is, we are, like I said, we are doing about anywhere from 30,000 crores to 35,000 crores per day. So, and we have come a long way. And I'm sure this will keep going. It's going up. And people have understood the benefits of commodities, the use of commodities.
So, I agree with you. And by looking your presentation, I understand that businessmen who are dealing with foreign customers and foreign vendors, and at the same time, those who have seasonal commitments for their customers and vendors. So, fluctuation in price is best way to is hedging.
Absolutely.
So maybe as of now, only big traders are involved in this hedging, but in time to come, MSME may be part of this.
Absolutely.
So in that direction, where do you see the market in next 5 years?
See, the thing is, even if you look at the most developed markets, you will always find some commodity contracts which will attract more number of investors and less number of hedgers. Okay. Now, we all know, I think it's all about volumes. It's all about volumes traded and also about the fluctuation, price fluctuation. The higher the risk caused by price variation, the more the chances are that people will come to hedge. And like I said, in the world, we are seeing something like about 70% and above investors, 25% approximately hedgers. That ratio will be maintained. And I'm talking about international, I'm not talking about India. In India, we are not nowhere near that number, but I think we have to get there. So there's huge scope for, like you said, MSMEs, SMEs to come on this platform and hedge the risk. Someone has to handhold them. Because what normally happens is that people say, I've been doing this business for the last 40 years, 50 years, and I don't need to hedge my risk. I know how to handle it. But someone has to show them there is a better way of doing it. So that is where we hope that all your esteemed listeners today for this program will come in and do their part to encourage people, industry to hedge in the markets. And what your question about what's going to happen in the next few years, I think this is just growing. There's no question about it. If I have any doubt in my mind, it is perhaps the speed of growth. But growth, sure, it is happening. Okay.
Sir, I would like to extrapolate.
Will you want to add anything?
Yeah, just extrapolate to what Srikanji said is, take example of all the metals contracts that were traded on MCX couple of years back. Everything was aligned to LME. The ratio was 1:1 in terms of price volatility. Now the regulator said that India is a big market for metals. There are a lot of copper, nickel, aluminum, lead, zinc. There are a lot of consumers in India. Why don't we have India price commodity? So that's where since 2 years we have all the metals aligned to the domestic prices. And that's where all the small hedgers, once the prices started to move up post the COVID-19, when the economy started again, commercial production started again, the price of metal started to rise. And that's where we have received a lot of calls from people who are using copper, as in, sir, please explain us how do we hedge on the exchange platform. And the copper prices moved from 450 rupees to 610 today. So that's where when they are able to relate their material prices to the exchange prices, they are on their own accord coming on the platform saying that we need to understand more. And that's where we see the next growth coming in from the hedgers, and it's going to increase in the times to come.
Thank you. So, friends, we have listened all the 5 experts today, and because of we are on virtual platform, we can involve as many as people interested in this. And I'm happy to note that 6755 is the figure which we got. Last viewers were saying it, and that is possible only on virtual, because wherever you are, any interior part of the country, you can just get benefit out of it. And last Saturday and this Saturday, we are really enriched ourselves. If it is very important for ourselves and our clients and maybe our employers, wherever we are. So I think I'm really happy and thankful to all expert analysts who have enriched us. And I'm really thankful to our committee chairman, C.A. Ranjit Agrawal, and vice chairman, C.A. Anil Bhandari, who has reposed confidence on us to do this thing. So for a formal vote of thanks, I request C.A. Sheetal Murarka, and I'm really happy. So good participation from all the chartered accountants across the country, My gratefulness is also due to Priyanshu Malhotra, Rupal Garg, and the technical team of ICAI. Thank you, friends. Sheetal, you can please.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. For now, I would like to thank CA Ranjit Agrawalji, Chairman, Committee on Capital Market and Investor Protection, CA Anil Bhandariji, Vice Chairman of the Committee, CA Sunilji Patodia, and CA Priyanshu, Secretary of the Committee, for all the support they extended to us in this two-day marathon of capital market, in which definitely this would help all the investors, all the chartered accountant friends to serve their clients in a better way, to serve their mutual fund selection in a better way, to help them hedge their position to avoid any wide fluctuation in the market, to help them in trading using the technical charts which Sachin and Mr. Sumit has shared. So definitely, I would like to thank all the speakers from all the AMCs which we had in the last week. This all the speakers from MCX, Mr. Shrikant and Mr. Somesh, Mr. Sumit Bagadia, Mr. Sachin Gupta, CA Anish Chitle. I would like to thank everyone for giving us this precious time on this Saturday. And I would like to thank all the participants for giving us time and joining this particular session. So once again, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
See you later as soon as possible. Thank you.
Sir, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.